evening, and welcome to the lag chair, because that's pretty much what it is today. The weekly lag. Actually, that sounds even worse. Welcome to the weekly steel chair, everybody, for a Summerslam preview and so much more. Yes, so much more. There is a lot to get through tonight, but I don't care. I've got plenty of time. I've got 2.5 hours to kill. We can go longer than that. Who cares? This could go for as long as we want because we love wrestling. This will literally go, and as you can tell, I'm the real world's champion. So let's get this going. Obviously, it's my co-host Eilidh. I'll come to you second. We're joined by Jamie from Liverpool Chats, big YouTuber. Unfortunately, supports Liverpool, so he doesn't understand ball, but he knows wrestling, but only messing. Good to see you, mate. How you doing? Welcome to the channel.
No, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for coming. Look, I like wrestling. I love talking wrestling, so I'm looking forward to this, man. I really am. Should be a fun show.
I'm glad you were able to come on, man, and it's good to hear you're doing well. Eilidh, how are you doing?
Doing well, yeah. Yep, ready to get into the accidental new era of the weekly steel chair. You'll be noticing the new banner. You'll be noticing the new show screen. We've basically, if we called the last show that we did, that was the new era, that was kind of like the crossover era. You know, like when they did the wild card and they very quickly got rid of it. That's kind of what that was. That was our wild card. We're here now. We've sorted, obviously, the channel name. We're under a new dedicated channel with the new dedicated banner, new dedicated content. We're going to hopefully be tying more stuff into that and giving you the wrestling content that you want, you need. And let's be honest, you guys are pretty amazing. So the stuff that you deserve as well. But no, doing well, ready to get into whatever you've got planned this week. As ever, you've come in with all the prep like a nerd, and I am just gonna be all reactionary as usual. Yeah, I am delighted to be back.
That's great. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. To everyone that's watching, please do like, share, and subscribe to the weekly steel chair. Please subscribe, of course, to Jamie's channel as well. Most appreciated. It should be on this the title as well of the show. Anything that I will add at the end as well. Descriptions, whatever, on the replay. Jamie, of course, is more than welcome on the channel anytime he wants, by the way. I've got no issue with that. Anyone in the live chat that is watching, you're also welcome. Anyone that wants to come on and join us tonight, it's not a problem as well. I'll drop the links in throughout.
It might be a problem for Reece's internet if you want to jump on. I mean, the fact that we've got 3 people going is actually quite impressive for Reece's internet. So do be warned, if we do want to make this a fatal 4-way, Reece's internet might not handle it the same. Now, obviously, we can turn like camera off and stuff to make it as easy as possible for your post office Wi-Fi over there. But, to hopefully have a lot of fun, and we hope you guys have a lot of fun as well. Get your comments in. We're no longer under these tight time restraints. We can, you know, as Reece is saying, we can go all night. We're going to have a Broadway special here. Essentially, though no singing or dancing, please, Reece. We know how terrible you are at both.
I'm good at dancing. I'm good at dancing. I just want to make things perfectly clear as well for tonight's itinerary. So we are going to obviously go through some weekly wrestling news as well. SummerSlam predictions as well. We always do predictions on the channel with a slight twist going forward. There will be a mini quiz that I've prepared, so that'll be done between. Everyone in the live chat can get involved, and of course Jamie versus Eilidh, and there will be of course engagement from the live chat, questions, updates, and also I've got a few ideas I like to do, but before we do any of that, I just want to welcome everybody into the stream. So first of all, Ravi, more questions than ever before, so good to see you, mate. And I hope you're doing well. Ravi saying, as long as EST doesn't win, that's all gravy. Like, Beasto can't stand her, so irritating. We will come to that. We will be coming to that. Don't worry. Let's see. Next comment, of course, by Ravi is the best female in WWE for her wrestling and stage presence. So it should be is Bailey. How many women can pull what she does off that much confidence? Interesting comment. Yes, you could say Charlotte, but she's overrated. She is overrated, and she's extremely boring. Don't worry. I always say facts on these shows. Charlotte is overrated. She is boring. She doesn't belong anywhere near a world title.
Jamie's not having it.
if Jamie is a fan of Charlotte, then we'll be having words. Samuel, good to see you, mate. He's also saying big up to you, Jamie. And I take quite offence to this. Big up the new Riot Squad. I don't have an ass like Liv Morgan. If I did though, then fair enough. I could use that to make money. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. That's not my style. And Connor, good to see you, mate. Buzzing at the moment. Heading to my first ever WWE live show in September for my birthday. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Glad to hear that. Charlotte is top 3 most overrated. I'm loving this, especially because it makes Billy cry as well. Because Billy's
there's
Billy's also
going to be
a fan.
Charlotte slander aplenty, but I mean, is Charlotte where you want to begin, or where you wanting to start this one off?
There's a lot that we're going to start with. But first of all, I just want to say, in the words of graciousness, thank fuck the NWA chose Insane Clown Posse, not Marty Scurll, because I'm not having a rematch of last week where I literally tore Scurll to bits. Just short news, obviously, that is little bits of banter news as well. We're going to bring up as well, because we all love a bit of banter. Bully Ray, or as I call him, Chubby Ray Suckley, has come out. He's come out and declared that he would draw over 1 million in AEW with Tommy Dreamer. Now, I don't know what Bully Ray is thinking. I don't know where his mind has gone, but Bully Ray couldn't draw 1 million anywhere. He physically could not do that. So how he says he can draw 1 million baffles me. It's not possible. But I'm going to come to you first on Jamie. For you first on this, Jamie, because this sounds so bloody funny. But what do you think? This is legit. By this is on his podcast, and it was confirmed by Ringside News a lot. Bully Ray says he could draw 1 million in AEW with Tommy Dreamer. Fire away.
I know they've had a bit of back and forth in TNA lately, haven't they?
Yeah.
Whatever it's bloody called these days. It's changed its name so many times. Yeah, and like Tommy Dreamer looks about 70 years old now. He looks awful, don't he? And Bully Ray's always, I think Bully Ray's ego has always been bigger than what he actually is, ain't it? It's always been the way. He's very into himself, and he thinks he's a star. Well, I suppose he's a star, but look, drawing 1 million, there's not a lot of wrestlers that draw anymore anyway, full stop. So let alone Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer, and plus wrestling fans, a lot of wrestling fans don't even know what NWA is. So, what I mean?
That's very true.
It wouldn't draw. Would it catch my attention as a fan of wrestling for so many decades? Yeah, of course it would. But would I go out my way to watch it? No, I don't think anyone would either. It'd just be one of them things, wouldn't it? Tommy Dreamer.
I definitely.
I saw them in their prime. I saw them in their prime 23 years ago. Yeah, I'm fine there. You know what I mean?
He's finished. Like how this guy still gets going, like baffles me. I mean, the guy's an absolute drone.
I'm surprised he ain't in WWE, by the way. I am surprised he ain't in WWE.
To be fair, I wish he wasn't an Impact. I wish he was in, I don't know, Mexico, because they've got nothing for me anyway. Especially after they made QT Marshall beat Pentagon Jr. in a bloody ambulance match.
Well,
pricks.
Impact should just be a women's company, in my opinion.
To be fair, they do a lot better for the women than they do for the men.
And
I mean, they've got a good
insurance company, like offering out pensions, because that's basically what it does, right? Like WWE guys, they leave at like either when they've had enough of Vince's shit or when they're like 60. So Impact should just be like the WWE pensions division. Like we'll give you a job. Yes, you can go through a table. Okay. This is nonsense from Bully Ray. But not only that, he would technically be right based on what show it was on. Because he could technically get around this argument if he was the opening match against Tommy Dreamer on a card that also had CM Punk versus Kenny Omega on it. Or MJF versus Adam Cole. He would technically have done what he said. It would be a way to do it.
I don't know, because Punk ain't a draw either, so...
I think him against Kenny would draw just because of Brawlout.
Yeah. Speaking of draws, actually, or interest, it's came out today as well as news. Get your thoughts on this. There's yet to be any as we know, there's yet to be any matches announced for All In. We know this, but they are at least looking to build towards this now.
Yeah.
Finally, that's great. One match in particular is Kenny Omega, it's Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah, it's the right match.
And I actually think that's the right choice, not Omega versus Ospreay 3. I actually think
Yeah,
it's right to go with
but
Jericho.
I don't think Ospreay and Jericho is the right choice either. I think you have to do Jericho and Sting.
That would be a good show, actually.
I
Jericho
think
Sting,
it
especially
has
for
to be
Sting's last
Jericho
year.
and Sting, and
Jericho.
it has to be like Will Ospreay versus, I don't know, a big draw. You know, if
think-
we've got another one.
I think All In's gotta be like an indie show. I think that's what All In's gotta be. I think it's not gotta be canon. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a massive AEW indie show, like a Forbidden Door is, like a one-off sort of event with no canon in it.
How do you
think
do
the
an
one thing-
indie show?
I think they're building at least some generic matches that are actually going to be fitting on the card. Like we're expecting the likes of Adam Cole versus MJF. That's at least a build. They will look to. To be fair, some of them, like my only concern is like how they're going to structure the show, because like for me they've got to have. I think they're building towards CM Punk versus Ricky Starks as well. I think you have to have that all in, but then again that also takes away the possibility of CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, which I also believe should be on it. I think you're going to have Swerve or Pac as well, mainstream for the international title as well, which would be a bit embarrassing.
When's All Out?
I was like, if I was to drop a bit of uncomfortable truth, they're probably going to build most of these matches for All Out.
That's what I feel like, yeah.
Because the All In tickets have already sold. Which means, that's a shame for the All In crowd that's going. Particularly because I would actually flip it. Because AEW fans, and this is known, and I'm sorry if you are an AEW fan, if you are a huge AEW fan, it's nothing against your character. Just, get ready to shoot me down in flames when I say this. You will watch what AEW put out, regardless of what they put out, because it's AEW. And there'll be parts of you that just stand up and clap it because it's AEW. And Tony Khan's doing a good bit, and Dave Meltzer's, probably the puppet master behind all of that. That means that AEW could build all these big matches for All In, and this is probably the way I would do it. Have them build the big matches for All In when you're potentially getting a new market, and All Out, you can do these matches that are, storyline but not as big, or just surprise matches at All Out, because you're going to get your American audience anyway. There's no point holding it back.
Agreed.
You are right. All In should be their biggest show they've ever done, like in the history of AEW.
Absolutely.
It's going to be at Wembley Stadium. They're going to not a new market, but they're going to the UK for the first time, and they need to take eyes off English fans who watch WWE and go, right, this is what we're doing. These are the matches we're going to put up. Because a lot of, if they do, the thing with AEW, AEW hasn't got any growth. Because wrestling's not what it was 20 years ago. There's no real new viewers of wrestling nowadays. And if there is new viewers of wrestling, they're probably going to go WWE because it's what everyone knows. It's the biggest company in the world.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So AEW can put these shows on, and they got a chance here to. Depends. See, if WWE are booking this, I think if it was SummerSlam at Wembley Arena, it'd be the most packed out show you could probably imagine, and just getting all that eyes on the product. AEW got such a big chance here. They could have 80,000 people at Wembley. You got to have all TV companies, you got to have media, you got to have so much eyes on this because there's 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium. People go, what is going on here? It's 80.
They're less than 10,000 away from matching WrestleMania 32, which is the biggest buyout record for any pay-per-view event in wrestling history.
It's an amazing achievement, and I don't want the public to just, like everyone's saying, like AEW fans going to this won't feel fobbed off because they just like AEW for what it is. They don't really care. They just want to see 5-star matches, not really care if there's a build to the next week following someone's match, or if there's a story going out of it or into it. They just want to see a 5-star match. That's what when I watch AEW, that's why I can't get on with it so much, because I do like story-driven wrestling.
I think that's a fair point. Mate. I've got the same issue when it comes to any wrestling organization. I have the same issue at times with Impact. I don't think Impact capitalize really well on even though Impact do great pay-per-views, they don't capitalize on the follow-up show. I think what AEW is doing really well, though, and I'll give them this, is they're actually building Collision better than their main show Dynamite. I think that's something that they have to be wary of.
I think it's
what is their
thing to do?
I do.
Can I talk about Collision?
Of course you can.
This is the biggest mockery I've ever seen in my life. Now, could you we all know, look, I secretly love Vince McMahon. I know he's got things against him, right? I'll talk about it later, but I secretly love that man, right? Could you imagine one of Vince's top guys or his top guys sitting next to him in a press conference, slagging his organization off and other talent right next to the boss? It just won't happen. And if it started to happen, it'd be shut down instantly,
Yeah.
CM Punk made a mockery of AEW and the fans and the wrestlers in the back and stuff like that. He made a mockery of it and his boss, and then they go out of their way to make a show just for him.
He's been rewarded with his own program where he is the star.
Collision is their best TV show at the moment. There's no doubt.
Oh, hands down.
It's their best TV show at the moment. But
it's a bit like comparing an edible meal to some Lego, though. Like it's really quite.
Stories are on Saturday as well.
It's a really low bar to say that Collision's better than Dynamite. Like,
Dynamite has in the last couple of weeks. I'll give credit. Dynamite has actually gotten better.
Please don't say it because they did that blood and guts thing, and they can actually all bring.
I'm not.
The blood and guts thing is weird because they didn't follow it on this Wednesday. I mean,
it's just like they never follow it on. The blood and guts thing happens, and that's just it. Eddie Kingston hated Cesaro over a year ago.
Yeah,
they still haven't resolved it.
Do you know?
I don't know if they're planning. I don't know if they're going to do that through Ring of Honor though, not AEW though, because it all stems from Ring of Honor, not AEW. You have to separate the two.
Well, then build Ring of Honor stuff on Ring of Honor and build AEW stuff on AEW. It's like WWE. You know when Mickie James showed up with the Knockouts title? It's like if someone attacked her and they started building a Knockouts title match in WWE. Like, build it on your thing.
Yeah.
Do your thing. You know, it's really
logically you would.
I hate what they've done to Ring of Honor. It's like taking a corpse's face and sewing it onto someone else and just pretending.
Where can you watch Ring of Honor, by the way?
Ring of Honor Honor Club is a subscription basis, or you can watch it on Watch Wrestling online.
Just steal it, quite frankly.
So you got like Eddie Kingston and Cesaro. Let's just call him Cesaro because his real name is.
It's always been Cesaro to me. He's never changed.
And they could have the match of the year. They literally could have the greatest match of all time, right? And no one's watching it. So if no one's watching it, is it ugly? Is it the greatest match of all time? No, because no one's watching it.
You're going very philosophical, you know, if a tree falls but no one hears it. If a 5-star match occurs, but it was in Ring of Honor, did it really happen?
I think that's the problem as well, is fans aren't actively looking. I think either fans aren't actively looking for it, or fans are just sticking to what they know because it's just how it is. But also, there's too many fans that are tribal that are immediately just going to attack the product without even watching it, and they make an assumption, and that doesn't help. Like that doesn't help. Like,
you've accused me of this tribalism before, but the difference is when I
accuse everyone of tribalism when I see it.
It turns out that I'm also right. Because when I call AEW a bunch of amateurs who are wasting every single angle and match and spot that they could possibly do, then they do a show like Forbidden Door where it's a bunch of amateurs and they waste every spot and angle and match they could ever possibly do. All of a sudden, it's tribalism that's paying off. So if I go in with a hatred of AEW that is then backed up by everything that I say is wrong with AEW, people then turn around and say, oh, but you just wanted to hate it. It's like, I gave you the warning for why to hate it.
I think another thing as well, though, is, and this is something that I think people yes, it's accurate as well, but I have the same issues with WWE, but that's just as bad because they're the biggest name. Everyone expects them to be great, when in fact, just because they get a big amount of ratings doesn't mean they're actually. But people are blind to this.
I agree with that.
People are blind to that point. They think WWE is the best thing since sliced bread. It's not. WWE is good. I'm not taking that away. But you can have a week 3.2 million average as your viewership, right? Your product could still be fucking boring. It can still be fucking boring, and yet nobody takes it because the Bloodline has 3-minute segments. But apparently that's real wrestling. It's fucking not.
But what is?
I won't have no Bloodline diss. That's
No.
great.
What is? So here's the interesting point then for you guys. What is entertaining wrestling these days? Because apparently we're being offered everything. You know, when you think about it, WWE is this cinematic storytelling, really quite long, drawn out. It's trying to be like a Sons of Anarchy or a Breaking Bad or something like that. A really, really long season of TV. But it keeps us entertained. This Bloodline stuff has kept us entertained. AEW's like giving toddlers sugar and then letting them loose in a soft play. You know, but if that's the sort of wrestling that you're into, where everyone does everything till it ends, that, you know, that's entertaining wrestling for you. And you might find the WWE stuff boring. And if you like standing in a room with another 4 people watching people go through tables, then you might like Impact best.
That's not all they do, though, to be fair. That's not all they do.
If you like watching sports-based matches between people and you can't understand what they're saying, New Japan would probably be, you know, if the language barrier isn't something you care about, New Japan would be your idea of perfect wrestling. Collision is what people are calling like an 80s throwback TV show, and that's their idea of perfect wrestling. And sometimes
I'll get to your comments in a minute, Jamie. I'll get to your comments in a minute, Billy.
Wonder when people are going to be happy. So I wanted to get both your takes. What is your perfect wrestling? Because I've made it completely clear that I thought NXT Black and Gold was perfect as a wrestling show.
So mine, look, where I come from with wrestling, I love story-driven wrestling. I love the soap opera of wrestling as well. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy the entertainment side of wrestling as well. I don't always just want match. You know, I want a bit of like filler in between, a bit of comedy, a bit of entertainment. I like a bit of story in my wrestling. You know, sometimes when I watch an AEW pay, because I watch everything, and when I watch an AEW pay, I think sometimes there's too many matches. Like someone's walking up the aisle and someone's coming down for the next match, and it's like, give me a bit of something in between. I don't mind it. Everyone's got to have their preference. It's like anything in life. Everyone's got to have a preference of like how your team plays football. You might like the way your team plays, but someone else doesn't. You know, who supports the same team. And
no one should like the way United play, though.
And I think that's the way of wrestling. It's just, I like story-driven wrestling, and I like the soap opera wrestling as well. Like the Bloodline stuff to me is the best thing I've seen since probably the year storyline of Hogan and Macho Man between 4 and 5. You know, between Mania 4 and 5. That is probably the best storyline in WWE since then. It's definitely the best storyline in whole wrestling right now. And it needs to be paid off correctly. You know, they got it right at WrestleMania. I was one of the ones who said Cody shouldn't have won. I think they got it right. And I love that. And I want to tune into it. With AEW, you're getting quality wrestling that's different because their work is different. You know, WWE style wrestling is more safe, more, you know, it's a more safe way of working. They ban certain moves, which I think should be banned, you know. And when I watch AEW, you know, I sometimes see like they do like moves on each other, which should be a finisher, and then no one sells it. And then they do another one, no one sells, and then they're back to doing other things. Like, and then that's not my cup of tea. And then when I have this issue.
Sorry to cut ahead of you, mate. I have the same issue when it comes to AEW and WWE when they overdo the DDT, they overdo the fucking super kick.
I hate it.
Like this is why,
should be a finisher.
like,
And that's it.
At the same
Yeah, but
time, DDT is slightly different because it's been so ingrained that way. Like I think we were all okay with the idea that the DDT, the neck breaker, the back suplex. I think maybe it's just me because I was a bit later to wrestling than you guys.
they used to be
I
genuine
was always
finishes.
okay. Yeah, I was always okay with the idea. And I know I heard that like Jake Roberts invented the DDT. It was Jake, right?
Yeah.
He did the bit. He did like
I was
when you look at like who innovated it as a finish, Jake Roberts. Yeah, and
yeah, I was like,
obviously,
I always well, I have tendency to confuse him and Sergeant Slaughter because again, I didn't watch
Cobra
it. and they were
Clutch.
just too old.
Cobra
They were just too
Clutch.
old
Cobra
guys.
Clutch.
Yeah, they were just two old guys to me. So sometimes I'll mix them up. But
No,
but,
that's
I've always
reasonably fair.
been
That's fine.
okay with the DDT, with the neck breaker, with back suplex, but things that you'd be like, oh, that's a nice sort of wrestling move. Even the German suplex, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with now is Canadian Destroyer 2 count, but I'm okay with it if the match calls for it. And
That's
I'm
a
okay.
fact. WWE have never done a pay-per-view since it's better than this.
I
17.
disagree. Sorry.
There's not a pay-per-view since, in my opinion, that's come close.
Mania Night 1 is the closest I've seen. This year's Mania Night 1 was the closest I've seen.
I don't think you'll ever top what WrestleMania 17 actually did to wrestling.
The main event and everything around that, and the soundtrack to that main event and everything.
In terms of entertainment, I could give you at least 6 NXT takeovers I'd rather watch before I watched X7.
You know NXT? Triple H's NXT. You know Triple H's
Mhm.
NXT, yeah?
Where you could book.
Weekly TV shows are boring.
Oh, yeah.
I actually disagree. I felt that like, I was watching Raw and SmackDown and earning NXT.
I think the first 2 years of his black and gold TV wise and pay-per-views were great. His third year onwards, it didn't really match. It was the pay-per-views that were better.
Pay-per-views never missed, and WWE's like that in general at the moment. TV shows are what they are at the moment. But every main event, every pay-per-view, especially this calendar year from WWE, they've knocked it out of the park, which pretty much everyone. It's sort of like that Triple H away of booking pay-per-views that have been tremendous. But I ain't gonna lie, my guilty pleasure in all the weekly wrestling shows is actually NXT. It's my guilty pleasure.
NXT is the one to watch right now.
I think Shawn Michaels is actually doing a great job over there.
I said on this show ages ago that Shawn Michaels is a better booker than Triple H, and I got slaughtered for it.
Did anyone see the Tia Hale video? Because she's going for the women's title at Great American Bash.
Yeah,
and it was like a throwback to her time in Chase U, like when she was drafted, and it's so stupid, but it's the right kind of stupid.
Stupid's good, yeah.
It's the right kind of stupid. People like that will turn and say, "But you don't like Orange Cassidy because he puts his hands in his pockets." Like, yeah, because the bell goes and Tia Hale tries to wrestle.
It would be with Orange Cassidy if he's fighting what they did with John Moxley on Wednesday. I'm just like Moxley Orange Cassidy would be quite fascinating actually.
I'd be okay if the match ended with both of them getting hit by a train. And I've said this on the show before.
I think the one thing as well is just to answer your question. This is exactly what I like about wrestling. I actually like wrestlers who actually want to wrestle. There's not very many that actually do it. There's too many evasive wrestlers. Roman Reigns is an evasive wrestler, and I'm sick of people like hyping him up like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread when he's actually not. He's good, but he's not great. He's not great.
As a face, he would probably wrestle more. I'm not saying he'd wrestle very.
I actually think he would be better. I think he would be better, and I say this with confidence. I say this with confidence. Roman Reigns would be better if WWE was not formulaic-based matches. If they were not overly formulaic model and they actually tried to change how they worked, he would be actually a lot better than he actually is. And I stand that with firm confidence. But what I like a match that will have a little bit of everything. Like I like forearm exchanges. I like not overly done, but I like forearm exchanges. Eilidh doesn't because she doesn't appreciate shoot 'em, which is wrong.
Danielson killed them.
What I like is I like a little bit where you do have the actual match itself, where it doesn't have to be overly done in terms of timing. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be very short. But I like it where it's constructed to an overall fan rather than it's not catered to a formulaic fan. I don't like formulaic matches unless it fits the gimmick, unless it actually fits who's actually involved. I like.
It fits Roman. It does.
It does. Right now, it fits
Yeah.
Roman.
Yeah. Because Roman's matches are like a story, like reading the book, aren't they? You know,
But
the first chapter where the end.
They're so similar. They're so similar that nothing about his matches right now impress me.
Everyone since Drew's got me out my seat.
Yeah, you can't. The thing is, though, you can't miss a Roman match at the moment.
No, you honestly.
I think you have to watch to see what comes next. I would just like to see if it actually. I would just like to see something a little bit different than always the same thing.
I do like train wrestling, you know, and stuff like.
I love a good chain wrestle.
I like when I watch wrestling. I know a lot of fans don't like it, and they start getting like because everyone's attention span is 3 seconds these days, ain't they? So you need to do a hurricane run or a jumping pile driver and a choke slam in the first 3 moves. You get everyone off their feet.
Yeah, they've got the wrestling on one screen and TikTok on the other in their hand.
I like slow build up matches that finish on a massive and you just can't catch your breath. You're like, oh my god, that was just.
That's why I will hype for days. Like and Eilidh will back this. I will hype Kazuchika Okada for days.
Yeah, that's how
he's the best. He when you think best wrestler in the world, if you don't think Kazuchika Okada, you're stupid.
Yeah, he's the best. He's probably the best wrestler in the world. He
reminds me, funnily enough, he is not like. He's nothing like him, so I'm saying this crystal clear. When you think about who actually builds a main event really well, when you think of the 80s, he reminds me of WWE's Macho Man and when Ric Flair before his airplane crash. Before the crash. Afterwards, he had to do...
I like that you were sure to clarify what you were saying last time. Jamie, you may have seen it, you might not. But our lovely host for the evening has once said that Moxley and Gunther are equivalents.
To be fair, people to this out of context a lot. What I said was they remind me of... They just want it to be pro wrestling. They don't want sports entertainment.
John Moxley doesn't want to be pro
he doesn't now. But
John Moxley always wanted to be car park fights.
But do I care about Moxley now? Not as much. I don't particularly care for him at the moment. I'm just saying that. But what I said was they don't want sports entertainment. They just want pro wrestling, and I get that. But people take this like I'm comparing them both as they are the one the same. I'm not. But people don't listen.
Enough from Moxley's biggest fan, Jamie. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying,
I'm not Moxley's biggest fan, by the way. Trust me, I'm definitely not.
My problem with John Moxley, and always has been, that John Moxley likes the blade, right? He just likes the colour. He likes that more violent nature of wrestling, yeah. And obviously, that's never going to happen in WWE. It's just never going to happen. So he goes to AEW, and that's what he does. And he's good at it. I don't blame him. If you're good at something, and that's what you're good at, go and do it somewhere else. I've not got a problem with it. My whole
the weird thing is he was good. The weird thing is I agree on that. The weird thing is, right? See when he went to do the G1, as US heavyweight champion, he barely bladed, but the matches he actually had.
He's better when he
actually would have told him not to.
I probably did, but I think
to tell him not to.
By the way,
I think the fact is that they have changed the whole process of that now, which is funny enough.
Jamie, go ahead. What you wanted to say?
Carry on, man. Carry on.
I was going to say Gunther. He's the second best pro wrestler in the world right now, in my opinion, apart from Okada. That's my opinion. I've not seen anyone that Gunther can't have a match with. It's just incredible, and it's proper pro wrestling. It's proper like it gets in there. You know what's coming. It's a bit formulaic in his matches. It is. Like everyone.
It is true.
Back in the day, I had the most formulaic matches there ever was. You know, you knew everything that was going. You knew the 5 moves of Doom were coming towards the end and all that sort of stuff. The way they're built. But I like that. Because I know I'm going to see a blinder every time. Because I don't like live music. I think live music sucks, right? Because you go and see your favorite band live and they start doing cover songs or songs you never heard of. And you're like, no,
you'll definitely get better.
I just want to hear your songs. That's what I paid money for. That's why live music sucks. And that's why I think wrestlers that stick to something they're great at and they continue that through their career and then add little niches to it, just make them the best. And that's why Bret Hart's or Shawn Michaels is and all that, and they're always got Ric Flair's, Dusty Rhodes. They're always going to be considered the greatest because they did everything spot on. Their whole
I know he's a better bastard. I know he is, but I say it every time on this show that the best wrestler WWE ever had was Bret Hart. By a country mile. I'm sorry to any Shawn Michaels fans. Shawn Michaels is, I think, when you look at what Shawn Michaels' work done, Shawn Michaels was brilliant against big men because he actually could sell. How Shawn Michaels sold an ass kicking from a big man is one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But the best pro wrestler, in my opinion, to ever be in a wrestling ring in WWE is Bret Hart. That's my opinion. Anyone can disagree with that. I've got no issue with that. But for me, the best wrestler in WWE is by far Bret Hart.
Don't know. Kurt Angle, very close.
Kurt Angle's amazing. I've got nothing against Angle.
Angle's a freak. He's a freak.
But his best was in TNA.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's a freak, man. Kurt Angle, he was never into pro wrestling. Never. He's an amateur wrestler. That's what his documentary is fantastic. If you ain't seen it, go and watch it, guys. It's tremendous.
Yeah.
He loves amateur wrestling.
Yeah, he does. I want to say this as well. I wanted to ask you guys this because it's not out yet, but it will be out soon. Are any of you guys going to watch the Iron Claw, which is the film on the Von Erichs?
Yeah,
it's dedicated film of Von Erich.
Not on the grounds that you could count the amount of Von Erich matches I've seen on 0 hands.
The only thing about it is, though, it's based on like his life, obviously before eventually what happened. The funny thing is, MJF is also cast in this film.
That's the thing MJF's in as
he's the fake cousin. He's the fake cousin.
Is it Kerry Von Erich life, or is it just Von Erich in general?
It's mainly Kerry's life, and I loved Kerry Von Erich. The Iron Claw was amazing. He was a fantastic wrestler for the NWA in the 80s. It's a shame what happened to him.
Yeah,
he was absolutely amazing.
He had the most potential out of everyone because he had the look as well, didn't he?
There's something mad thing. Like 4 of the 5 of them died within like 10 years of each other.
That's right.
The Von Erich story is sad, man.
It's horrible. I just want to say as well, because I know Billy asked about it. The match between Taya Valkyrie and Britt Baker, the less I say about it, the better, because it was fucking horrible.
What's happened to Britt Baker, by the way?
She's fell off.
Jamie Hayter's gone. So Jamie Hayter can't show her how to wrestle anymore.
She was the top woman in that company by a country mile. And then the WWE girls come along and they sort of dropped the main AEW women again. It's like, I know MJF, I don't believe a lot what MJF says in his promos when he was apparently shooting. But I do think he had that little point when he said that, would you treat me better if I was a WWE guy, former WWE guy? And I do think that's true because, look, if Paige comes to AEW, she's a bigger name than any homegrown AEW woman because she comes from a bigger product, which has had more eyes on them. So if you're an owner of that company, you want to put the eyes on the person that is more well known. So I understand Tony Khan's logic by all this, but when Britt Baker's a superstar, man, she's literally a superstar, and Tony Storm is terrible. I can't stand her. She's just go back to your OnlyFans. Do that. It's just she's absolutely.
Please say that to Juice Robinson, so Juice Robinson can say yes, please.
Oh, she's so. I don't get the Tony. I don't.
To be fair. This is a great comment. This is a great comment because this is actually spot on. James, I'll come back to your comment in a minute, but this is spot on. I'll say it again, it's because AEW doesn't have a correct strategy for its women's division training wise. It's a shame as they have better talent than WWE.
No,
Completely
they don't.
agree.
No,
yes,
they don't. No, they absolutely do not have better talent than the WWE.
They do. They do. Stop.
John, who is it, right? They've got all the people they took from WWE. We've got Britt Baker, who's had some of the worst televised matches we've ever seen. Thunder Rosa, who has a new tantrum or injury every 2 months. We've got Blue, Anna Jay, the pregnant Ty Conti. Taya Valkyrie also plucked from WWE after Impact, where she made most of her fucking fame and name. So I'm fed up of people going AEW as the best roster. You can't just draft the biggest names.
I'm
and then
already telling people that none of them
the
compare.
best roster or better talent because you're not doing anything with it. And it doesn't help the case either that Charlotte Flair, I know you hate it,
Shite.
Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Asuka,
Stop.
Raquel
Stop.
Gonzalez.
No,
I could
stop.
keep going.
Stop,
Did I
stop,
say
stop,
Bailey? I
stop,
can't remember if I did.
stop.
Io Sky, Dakota
Stop,
Kai.
Raquel. Stop.
What I will say
Please
is,
stop. Please stop. I beg.
I'm going to do some
Raquel.
Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair. Look, the reason Charlotte Flair is hated because she's run down everyone's throats. No, I get it. I do. She shouldn't be in title.
No, Billy. No.
Charlotte Flair is probably as an all-round wrestler. She's probably the best in the women's wrestler. It's all round thing. She can talk, she can carry herself, she looks great, she can wrestle.
When
I look at the women's division,
I think Mercedes Moné is better than her personally.
I look at Charlotte, Sasha Banks. She's a great wrestler, but she's got a terrible ego.
She's better. The ego aside, she's better right now than Charlotte Flair.
She ran off to Japan because she was annoyed.
She went to Japan, and look at the matches that she's had since. They've actually been very good.
In front of who?
The thing with Sasha, I like Sasha. I think she's great, and I think everything will be fine eventually. She just wants a bit of time. When I look at the women in WWE, I think they are the best around. They're just not booked properly. That's all it is.
That's the problem with women's wrestling in general. They don't have anybody that understands how to book women's wrestling.
Unless you're fighting for a title, women don't really have storylines, and that's the problem.
Charlotte Flair for 6 months.
You should be flushing out all the women's divisions.
You could say the exact same for tag teams. You've got the tag feud for the tag belts. You've got the women's feuds for the women's belts, and that's it.
It's very hard to have a tag team feud without the belt, though. I will say.
Not really. Like, you could have some other issue go on. Like, they love having managers all the tag teams, so do a classic romance angle. Just don't make it crap. Maybe the female manager betrays the face team in favor of the heel team. Then you've got a feud there for 3 months. Maybe someone who used to be in a 3-man team forms a team with someone else, and then you've got a 2v2 that could go on for a few months. We could have seen the Usos against Roman and Solo for a few months if Roman didn't have both world titles, because this bloodline feud could have kept going in that tag direction if Roman didn't have the titles, which is what we all pretty much thought was going to happen when we thought Cody Rhodes was going to finish the story.
Although
I am surprised no woman's ever been put into the bloodline group, but
I don't know who it would be. The Rock slaughter? She's not ready.
No, I
actually do agree now. I think it was right not to give him the first win, Cody Rhodes, because since then, look at who he's actually been booked against. He's not done enough.
He's only had 4 matches before Mania. This is
what
he had 3 matches against Seth, and then a TV match against The Miz, 3 matches against Seth, got injured, came back and won the Rumble. He shouldn't actually then be beating the biggest star in wrestling at the time at Mania. That don't make sense because the story, and now the way it's worked out, the story was never them. The story was
what they will do. Follow up is what I want to see if they can at least get to that. The one thing is, and this is a fact, they've wasted Brock Lesnar's time. I know Eilidh hates Brock Lesnar, but if you actually think about it, they've wasted his time because there's no reason. Like, they've never actually confirmed. Like, Brock has never once came out in any promo or in any situation. He's actually said, "Why are you going after Cody Rhodes?" There's never been a distinct reason, and I'm like,
it's got to be this Paul Heyman thing.
I just think this was always the plan, but I think WWE are very aware now that they've not given a reason why Brock's going after Cody.
This is also true. This is also true.
Yeah, exactly. And with the Roman, the Brock Lesnar Cody stuff, WWE, I think, are very aware now that they never gave a reason, but they're like, it's so far gone now. It's point giving the reason now. Just let them have the match. I've got to say, though, I'm going to say one thing. I love Brock Lesnar. Yeah, Brock Lesnar for me,
Eilidh hates him.
Is the only wrestler who looks and acts like a superstar. In my opinion, he's the only wrestler in all of wrestling. Forget anywhere else. Maybe Japan, because Japan wrestlers are superstars because it's a sport. But just North American wrestling.
Would you not argue that Gunther does that?
He looks like Gunther don't look like a superstar. Right, Brock looks like a superstar.
I don't know, with his two I have said a different word there, but there's two Germanic henchmen. Clearly called them something else. And he comes out, he's got the belt round his waist, he stands there with the pose and everything. I would say himself.
The only problem
I want to see the only thing. That's the match I want to see.
I also I have to say that Roman Reigns absolutely looks and acts like the big shit, and the reason is that he is.
Well, he is the last part, but
no, I mean everything from the little. The only thing I would remove from his presentation is that stupid bronze statue, the weird 3D rendered thing as he enters, and
they're all shit.
Yeah, I really not dollars on a crap. A couple of. I kind of like AJ's because AJ's is just this little logo. The Nakamura one isn't bad. Anything where they tried to render something living hasn't worked. Like the Usos one where they're kind of bleeding into a tree.
I would have preferred if they went back to what they did during the even though it was not the best, the Thunderdome era when they done the camera angles. I thought the camera angles during the Thunderdome era were superb. They could still do that technically on Raw and SmackDown now. They still could. It's just not in the Thunderdome. But the angles where they were far away as they were walking down, I like that. That was more cutting edge.
And they used the 8K cameras. They used the 8K cameras.
I want them to go back to that. That's how.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of our tribal chief and everything going on with him, is it time to jump into some SummerSlam predictions?
It is. Well, we're going to come to the predictions at the end. We're going to come to the predictions. We're doing predictions at the end because there's something I want to propose to everybody at the end, and I'm just getting. So I always write predictions down, so I'm just making sure I've got them. But I'm coming to them at the end. But I'm just going to quickly share my screen because I do have the match card courtesy of Shittypedia, because that's what's always been called, Shittypedia, not Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is absolutely fine. It's where I've got 99% of my quiz answers for previous quizzes. So do not feel the need to slander your Wikipedia.
You better hope that you remember some stuff from Wikipedia, because that's what's going to happen with your quiz. But just let me know when it's on. There we go. It's on screen. Tina Turner was in the Thunderdome as Jamie Rose.
For a reason. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Yep. Okay. So whilst we're doing that, just make sure everybody does like, share, and subscribe to the Weekly Steel Chair, and obviously please do subscribe to Jamie's channel as well. The is on the channel as well. Obviously Ravi as well can share the screens because Ravi should be a mod. If not, I'll just change that around. But still, share the links, of course. Let's build it. But anyway, I'm going to throw over to the guest this time. Jamie, do you want to do from 1 down, or do you want to do 7 backwards?
Yeah, do 7 backwards.
Fantastic. Seems to be every single bloody prediction stream.
Are you going to add the other match in it as well?
I'll let you add whatever you want. Yeah.
I think you're getting Raquel Rodriguez versus Mammy, ain't you? So
I think that's expected to be announced, but it's not. Obviously, it's not been announced yet, but I think it is expected to be. But we'll add that ourselves.
A member of LWO versus Austin Theory.
No, I've got a feeling that's going to be at SmackDown the night before.
That's not
on SmackDown, is it? Well, yeah. we'll throw it in as
and then I think Austin Theory wins that, and then does a call out on SummerSlam, which brings LA Knight out to win it. That's my opinion.
Because that's the plan. That is the plan for SummerSlam. Is LA Knight is not scheduled for a match. He's scheduled for a segment that leads to a match. So I agree on that. So we will add those in. Let me just quickly grab my pen.
What if you
for
fight
that.
Stone Cold though?
It won't.
You could have
That'll be
what? Yeah. What? Yeah. What? Yeah.
I think, and I'm going to say this now as a bold prediction because it's months away, and my fantasy booking for the LWO gives me in the bank for this. It gives me something in the bank. I think that at WrestleMania 40, or either WrestleMania 40 or WrestleMania 41, you'll see LA Knight versus Stone Cold. Either next year's WrestleMania or the following year, depending on where he's at position wise. Austin versus Fury. Austin versus LA Knight, and I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be promo wise. That would.
No surprise, Billy is getting head over heels. He's actually booked. He's picked Charlotte to win. Ugh, end yourself. Just kidding. Don't do that, mate. I love you.
That's
right. Anyway,
end yourself. Did you just?
That's not.
I like
anyone
Billy.
watching at home, don't take Reese's threats seriously.
I don't frame people. I like Billy. Billy knows that. I like Billy.
I think this Summerslam is going to be awesome.
I'm doing a watch along for it, so there's an update for everybody. I'm doing a watch along for it. Anyone's welcome to join me, by the way.
I think they said they got 9 matches are locked in for SummerSlam. So there's 9 matches. No.
I've heard that it's 9.
Just for the record, I am skipping the pre-show. I'm not watching the pre-show. I'll probably stream during the pre-show, but I'm definitely not bloody.
It's not really a pre-show anymore.
What are we thinking's on the pre-show though? Because obviously Morgan's
they just talk, don't they? Now
Kayla Braxton boring her tits off. That's what will happen.
Yeah, but I mean match-wise, like Alpha Academy, something or other.
I don't think there'll be any. There won't be any. There won't be a pre-show match, in my opinion. No.
Have we got a pre-show match at Clash? Which, okay, admittedly, was the last time I checked for a pre-show match, was because it was there.
That was the last one.
Fun.
They haven't done one since. Yeah. Right. So I've got that. So I'm just putting in all of Billy's ones now, just so it's easier, and then we'll run through them. We'll run through ours.
Did we ever actually check or acknowledge, pardon the, be the ones and all that, what happened on the last pay-per-view? I didn't know if this is something you saved for, to track a record, to see how we got on with the predictions for... there's so many shows now. What was it called? Money in the Bank. It was the last one, right?
I think we'll need to double check it, but I actually think we may have tied. I think we tied because we had a lot of the similar predictions, except maybe 1 or 2 was the only difference.
Well, I think you said Dominic, you weirdo.
I said that for the pure banter of what's the point in Cody.
No, you didn't. You explained that Dominic had to win.
Yeah, I did.
But also, what was your take on that, Jamie? Dominic had to win at Money in the Bank.
Adds more at the hard times for me.
No, I think you had to have Cody winning if he's going to fight Lesnar. Because you got
I was hoping that Lesnar would have been there. I was hoping Lesnar would have been there, but he wasn't the big person.
He's not going to fly to the UK. He only flies to Saudi Arabia for the paycheck and 1 Raw every 6 weeks.
He would have got the bag in the UK. London would have gave him a bag. I mean, they already gave John Cena everything.
Give him a bag of something if I was there.
I think the crowd might have cheered Brock as well, so it might have been.
I agree with this. To be fair, I enjoy AEW previous times. Their pre-shows at times aren't the best either. That's the thing is I would like I would like flow from every show like pay-per-view and all that. I don't like overly done segments. That Bloodline 40-minute segment was a waste of time. They could 20 minutes, exactly what it should have been. 20 minutes would have been completely fine.
Yeah, they went too long, didn't they?
Yeah, 20 minutes. It took away a lot. I know, I understand that it was the Bloodline. They should be getting all this, but what's the point in building up a roster if you're just going to throw all that time into one story that has at times been utter pish? Like a husband.
Anyway, have you managed to find a record there, or is it lost to the?
I'll rewatch the. Actually, I should have the prediction somewhere. What I'll do is, What I'll do is I'll just either rewatch the show or I'll just check
We just
the
want to
predictions.
know who's coming in champion, basically. We just want
I
to
think-
know.
Right, we'll go proxy. It's a draw. So here we go. It's a
All right.
proxy.
I'll
It's a
be
draw.
checking, and we'll be fixing that in post. If, as I
just
suspect,
saying
Reece had a howler and he's trying to get away with a draw.
Don't worry, I
didn't
didn't.
have a howler. My apologies.
Anyway, we are going to dive into these. So I've got Billy's 7. Should I just add in the possible 2 that we've got? Should we just include possibly LA Knight versus? Should we include it anyway, just in case it happens, like LA Knight versus Fury?
We can talk about it. Yeah.
Right. So Billy in the chat, give me your predictions for those. James, Ravi, give me your predictions as well. So that is potentially LA Knight versus Austin Fury for the US title, and it could happen Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley. Add those in as well. Right. Let's fire in, folks. And I'm actually going to say we're going from 7 down, so we're going to start with Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey, which of course stems from Money in the Bank when Shayna finally done the thing that I actually said she was going to do before everybody. I said she was going to turn on. I said Shayna was going to turn on Ronda. So the fact is, I'm buzzing anyway. But if this is rumored to be Ronda's last match for good, if this is her last match, then there's only one winner, in my opinion. It has to be Shayna, because no one should be going out in a win. They've always booked it where your last match is a loss.
Yeah,
So I think it'll be a very good contest between the two of them. I know on the mic, Ronda's boring as hell, but when she does work a match with somebody of like her style, or at least similar build, similar strength factors, like, you will get a good match out of her. I think that's why her match with Raquel Rodriguez was actually very good at the end of last year. I thought that was actually a very good women's match. Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey. Mic-wise, Shayna eclipses Ronda. Easy. That's been proven because the Skittle Monster really is repressive on the mic. But when you... Literally, the Skittle Monster. But when you look at matches between the two, this is a good way to send off Ronda, even though she'll be getting sent off in defeat whenever she wants to return. But I'll come to you first, Eilidh. What's your thoughts on Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey? And do you agree or do you disagree on the possibility that because it's the last match, she should go out on a defeat?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've heard from a lot of people that that Ronda's done after SummerSlam, apparently heading back to the UFC to get beat up for real now that she's done having fake fights for the girls. Never forget. No, she should be beaten here, and if I was Shayna Baszler, I'd haze her. Actually, I would beat her up for real, and I would beat her up for real to warn that A, she can do it, and B, Ronda Rousey should not be thinking at all about going back to the UFC unless it's to be an analyst, a pundit, an on-screen personality. If she tries to get back in that octagon now, just because Holly Holm's gone, that doesn't mean there's not people around that are going to absolutely kick her tits in. So she's been warned. Shayna Baszler should warn her. This should be a Shayna Baszler win. I'm just gutted they're not doing it in a fight pit.
I wanted this personally. I don't know what you think, but I wanted this to be an I Quit match.
I Quit would have worked. Fight pit would have worked. Submission match would have definitely worked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think especially if it's a one and done, it could, and you could still add the stipulation, I suppose. I mean, they're both MMA, so you could. I mean, even friend of the WWE Daniel Cormier could book it. Could announce that they're going back to the fight pit. Yeah, I think if it's a one-off, you should probably do a gimmick match. Because all people want to see is these two MMA people fight an MMA style match, and the fight pit's the closest they've got.
But yeah, I
think
that's fair. I think that's very fair. So, do you want me to just take your predictions now, or just wait till the very end of each one? Like, what do you want to do?
You may as well take them while we go.
Yeah, it's fine. So you're going with Shayna.
Yeah, and Jamie, you can go ahead and give us your take on it as well.
Absolutely, mate. Fire away.
I think this will be a Shayna squash. I think this is going to be a squash. I don't think it's going to go longer than 5 minutes.
James is also going for Shayna.
I think it'd be a squash. I think Shayna's just going to obliterate her. I think Ronda's very happy of doing it because it's one of her actual good friends. And I think Ronda will be very happy doing it and leave out that way. I don't think it'd be Ronda's last match. I think she will be back eventually. But I think I literally think Shayna squashes her in 5 minutes. I think she just absolutely annihilates her. And it looks like the NXT Shayna. I think that's what Triple H.
That's what I've been waiting. That's what I've been waiting on.
He's trying to get that NXT Shayna so she can go into that title, that singles title push. She obliterates Ronda for me. Absolutely obliterates her. I don't think Ronda gets a touch on Shayna. I think it's a squash. 5 minutes. There's 9 matches in this card. They don't want it to go over 4 hours, apparently, is the rumour. So some of these going to be short.
Yep.
Yeah, Ronda. I think Shayna, I just think it's the right thing to do. I don't think it should be competitive. I really don't. Shayna's going in as the face, apparently, what we're hearing.
She is.
She's the one with the pent-up frustration of Ronda stealing her spotlight all the time. She's got all that anger. And I think if Ronda is going out and this is the last match, we don't see her for another year or so. And Ronda's her good friend. Yeah, Shayna should just obliterate her. 5-minute win.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, mate. And I've said it for quite a while that I think Shayna is probably the best on the roster. I know there's a lot there, and I have said this comfortably, and Eilidh knows I've said this. I do think Shayna is the best on that Raw roster. The problem is, you look who's also on that roster. There's arguments for it, the likes of Rhea and all that, and I understand that. I think Rhea's great, but Rhea's an NPC. But when you look at it, you're welcome, Ravi. When you look at overall work, if WWE was more legitimate based, and I mean like generally you put it on your most legitimate champion, like the world title, there is nobody on that main roster that's more legitimate, in my opinion, than Shayna Baszler, pound for pound.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially when she's actually on it as well. The problem is WWE wasted her for so long. And Eilidh made a great point in a previous show we done where how they handled her with Alexa Bliss. Like, that was wrong way to treat her. And also putting her with one of the worst workers I've seen, like in Nia Jax. Done her no favors at all, except the fact she held more titles. It did her no favors. Shayna should always be, whether it be even if it's a babyface or a heel or a tweener, she should be a killer, and she is so good at that. So I completely agree with you, and I've also gone with Shayna. Ravi did ask a question. I'm not going to bring it back up on screen, but I'm just going to say the comment. He says, "Do you all three think Shayna could have been more badass than she currently is?"
Yeah, definitely. The reason Shayna ain't where she is because she's not blonde and she's not pretty. I'm just putting it out there right now. Because what we got to remember, wrestling is a TV show at the same time.
Yeah, and looks are important.
Sex is always going to sell, and the way you look and stuff like that, no matter how you got good in the ring.
I will come to the defense of them slightly. Shayna can't talk either.
I mean, she can talk in a way that is a badass way of talking, but it's she can get a point across short and sharp. Maybe that's how you got. Personally, after all,
that's why Asuka's so good.
Yeah, because she could just say something really quick and sharp, and it just gets a point across. With Shayna, I'd love to basically see after the Bloodline thing's finished and Heyman's done with them, Heyman taking her under his wing and him becoming her advocate, her talker, and she's like a female Brock Lesnar, and like that would be good. Brock Lesnar, because that's
going to be a female Brock Lesnar that's full time, or a female Brock Lesnar that does 3 matches a year.
Full time.
I don't mind the part time Brock Lesnar. I ain't gonna lie.
I mind that when he's taking opportunities away. If you're going to be a part-timer and fight 3 times a year, and they're just 3, look at Logan Paul, for instance. He hasn't changed the business as such, but he's had fun matches. He's come in, done his thing, and left again. When you're the champion, you come in, you do your thing, and you leave again. That's just frustrating. When you come in, ruin Money in the Bank, and leave again, that's killing people's careers, killing people's potential pushes. all because you've decided to come back and you want another ride on the gravy train. That's why I hate Brock Lesnar.
I don't think we ever see Brock as champ ever again, though. I won't worry about that.
Me neither. I don't think he ever will again. I don't think he ever will. Moving on. Now, this is going to be an interesting topic of discussion. It's going to be, my opinion, the record ender. Is Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental title.
Wow.
Now, which record is ending? Is it the record of the longest reign of the modern era? Or is it going to be the inevitable end of the Honky Tonk Man's record IC title reign? We're going to dive into that. So, Eilidh, you're not getting asked first on this one. Because Scottish bias aside, we go second. We just have to. Jamie, come at me. Your thoughts on Gunther versus Drew McIntyre?
I would have Honky Tonk Man never lose that record because it's the Honky Tonk Man, and that's the joke. That's the inside joke. So if anyone knows about this Honky Tonk record, and everyone looks at it and goes, "Honky Tonk Man was like for 400 odd days," that's mad. Because it was an inside joke back then as well. It was always an inside joke that Honky Tonk Man had the record. Yeah. And part of me doesn't want that inside joke to stop. And just he carries on until the dawn of time, till everything's finished. He's always the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion ever. Part of me wants that for the inside joke, but there's not a lot of people who know about that. But
his record is only what, 40 days longer than Macho Man's record?
Yeah. And it's the thing everyone knows. Oh, Honky Tonk is crap. He weren't a very good worker, and and everyone laughs about it, and it's an inside joke. But when I look at Gunther, I'm like, what have they got set up for him in the future? For me, I think Gunther's going to win the Rumble in January. That's my opinion. So for me, he needs to lose the title between now and Rumble. I believe the record is up after Payback.
It is.
If I'm right.
You're right,
I don't know about... No one at the moment knows really about what Drew McIntyre's going to do. Drew McIntyre could actually still... I think his contract runs out in Christmas, is it? Something like that. So...
It's just after that, I think. Just after that.
Yeah. So... I just don't see Drew McIntyre. I don't see Drew McIntyre as Intercontinental Champion. I think Gunther wins this. I think he wins it, and this could be match of the night as well. This could easily be match of the night. I think it's go 20 minutes. I think it's go 20 minutes, and then just go beat the living shit out of each other, and it's going to be a spectacle, man.
Yeah, definitely. Ravi, I'll come to your comments after I've given my prediction, because you've asked you've made two interesting comments. We'll definitely come back to them. Eilidh, your thoughts on Gunther versus McIntyre, and what do you see happening for this one?
I think Gunther's got to beat Drew McIntyre. I don't think this is going to be the last time the two fight, and I think it would be silly to have Drew McIntyre win it now if I think that there's going to be multiple matches to this feud. I think Gunther ultimately has to win the first one and keep the belt, and obviously they're so close to the record now. It makes sense to have this record beaten. It makes sense for Gunther to have that going forward. They love having current stars who are able to say, I'm the longest reigning, blah, I'm the most, I've been this champ the most times. I've beaten at 57 different Wendy's in a week. Like they love having any sort of record. Matt Hardy strongly dislikes mustard. Any sort of fact that they can attach to a wrestler. And I think having the longest Intercontinental title reign be Gunther is absolutely the least that he would deserve. But I do see Drew McIntyre being the one to end it. I just don't see him being the one to end it the first time around. If Drew McIntyre doesn't end it, I can see it being a Pete Dunne-shaped man named Butch, who ends up ending it, and we get a nice throwback there. No, I think Gunther's going to win this. I think it is going to be a good match. I think it will be the match of the night, depending on what you look for in a match, because I think there's another couple of contenders just based on what you look for It's a really strong card. But no, I'd go for Gunther to retain here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to come off the flat at the bat, and I'm going to say Gunther will drop the title at WrestleMania 40.
Okay.
But he's not going to drop the title by losing the title. If you get where I'm thinking of, I've said this on stream before. I think Gunther for me, and I think there's just something about it. Gunther reminds me of Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Everything he does is so precise. Everything he does the crazy thing is he has both Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart vibes. He's got the Mr. Perfect vibe of everything's got to be precise and has got to have that cutting edge delivery. Whereas every time Bret Hart hits you, it looked like Bret Hart really wanted to hit you, and he was hitting people he was actually doing it for real. You could see it in Bret Hart. Everything was serious to him because it was all about importance of how you deliver a story and how you deliver a match. A match to him is just as important as a promo segment. So that's what Gunther gives me those vibes of both men. And why I've said Mr. Perfect is because I think the next IC champion will win the title just like Mr. Perfect did. Gunther will win the world title. As Jamie said, Jamie thinks Gunther will win the Royal Rumble. I also think Gunther will win the Royal Rumble. It should not be Cody. Cody should not be winning.
I think it
doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve
it.
He should not be winning 2 in a row. In my opinion, Cody going to WrestleMania to fight Roman for the title, if it's going to be that, Cody should win the Elimination Chamber to qualify.
Okay.
Gunther should win the Rumble, stamps his authority that he wants the world title. It's title versus title, just like Hogan versus Warrior at WrestleMania 6 in Canada. Gunther pins the world champion, wins the world title. He then drops the title, vacates it. The following night on, will be because he should main event. He wants the main event as Intercontinental Champion. Have him main event night 1. Cody Roman main events night 2, for example. Then you've got a tournament that builds either back, like you could have the title, like the next IC champion wins a tournament at Backlash. Exactly what Mr. Perfect did. Mr. Perfect won the tournament and became champion. It should be a perfect follow-up like that. That's exactly what I would do. Recreate that main event from WrestleMania 6, except you have 2 men that can wrestle, not 2 men from the 80s that just gave up on wrestling altogether.
I think that is the plan for Gunther. I think the Rumble, this year's Rumble, I think was a test to see how good he is, and the match is going on, and I think it's definitely, there's no one else in the company right now, and it makes perfect sense. Now, he'll be going after, obviously, the Raw title, and whoever the Raw champion is at the time should be interesting. Personally,
yes,
I just said Brock should never be world champion again, but
somehow Brock is world champion for WrestleMania.
World champion on Monday Night Raw, and it's Gunther versus Lesnar on night 1 for the world title. Everyone's watching that. Could you imagine them too? That's money.
And you know what's even fun? I would actually let them go 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, just let them go, man. Slap the shit out of each other for 30 minutes.
Eilidh's got a thumbs down because Eilidh's a hater. But to be fair, Gunther would actually get an amazing match out of Brock Lesnar.
This was rumored as the WrestleMania match, if you recall. Gunther and Brock Lesnar was rumored for this year's WrestleMania, and instead we got an absolute stinker out of Brock.
From Omos. We got a stinker out of Omos.
I don't care. I don't care if you're going to say, "Oh, it was Omos." There are people who've had better matches against Omos than Brock Lesnar did.
I thought that was the second best Omos match I've ever seen. I actually thought Lesnar Omos was actually all right.
But how many Omos matches have you seen? I thought it was awful.
I thought it was really all right. And then Brian Alvarez thought exactly the same thing, didn't he? He actually thought.
I'd like to say. Update. I'd like to say this. This is coming from WrestleOps on Twitter. So this is from TMZ. Vince, and you'll love what I say at the very end. Vince McMahon underwent successful major surgery last week to fix an issue with his spine. The procedure lasted over 4 hours, and now he's home recovering. Good. Fucking keep him at home. Take all his technology away from him.
Do you believe a lot of what the talk is about? I think too many people never want to give Triple H any blame for things when they go wrong.
I've said in this channel numerous times he gets wrong. Like his TV booking crap. His TV booking isn't great.
Yeah, they're all up Triple H's ass too much. Look, Triple H brought Bailey and all that back with Damage Control. It's been his booking the whole time. He ruined it.
And that's flopped.
Yeah, I think. Look, Triple H obviously he said it himself. He's learned a lot from Vince. He does what Vince does. He has booked that way. So when we all say, when people get irate because their favorite wrestler is not on telly anymore, and they're like, "Oh, it's because Vince is back." All of a sudden, I'm not seeing Johnny wrestling in a on Raw anymore. Well, Triple H brought him back and then never used him anyway, before Vince even came back when he was retired. So, yeah, I'm not sure everything's to blame with Triple H with Vince.
Billy, I never made you one because you weren't here at the time. It's your fault.
Billy showing that he fights no corner. What I wanted Brock Lesnar and Omos to do at WrestleMania was nothing. I didn't want them to fight. I didn't want to see Brock Lesnar. I haven't wanted to see Brock Lesnar since 2015. I've had enough of him.
Well, here's something that's going to make Eilidh angry. I'm just going to say this. Brock Lesnar,
flush. That's what he is.
Brock Lesnar's the best seller in the company, by the way.
Correct.
He's the best seller in the company. He sells things all the time.
By a mile.
Yeah, he's
he's finished.
I think Dolph Ziggler is the best seller in the company.
I'm going to say this as well because Eilidh's going to hate this. Brock Lesnar pre 2012 was a 3-time world champion. Brock Lesnar post 2012 is a 10-time world champion.
Yeah.
He's tied.
Being Vince McMahon's mate can get you.
He has the same. He has the same number of title reigns as The Rock.
Right, so as well. The Rock's.
It's amazing when you book yourself. But
I mean, Brock's quality. I can't. I just love Brock Lesnar.
Brock's a draw. I'm not saying Brock's a draw. Brock's not a draw. I'm saying Brock's not a draw for me.
That's because you're a spanner, mate. I'm just kidding. You're not.
Brock's not a draw for me.
Brock's a bigger draw than Roman Reigns.
Brock Lesnar comes back and does these things and works with the top guys and everything while also still being a part-timer. Because again, the point of being the part-timer is you're the special attraction. You're supposed to come in with no storyline and just have a match with somebody. That's why I don't like Trish Stratus hanging around like a bad smell either. Move on. Go away. You are taking TV time off someone who could be getting over right now because you can't let go.
No. They brought her back because they've realised just how bad their women's division is, and they actually need a real star to actually elevate their talent.
They've got real stars. They don't need Trish at all. They didn't need to bring her in for Elimination Chamber, but that's fine. It was a one-off. Sure, do it. Don't have Trish hang about, given the rest of the roster bloody panic attacks over the fact that, one move going 2 centimeters wrong will cripple the poor girl because she's about 50 and can't move anymore. And I'm fed up with people saying that she's had good matches. I hated Trish versus Becky. I hated Trish versus Becky. To me, Trish was moving like she was underwater.
I love
that's because Becky Lynch can't wrestle against a woman of her quality. Just saying.
Becky Lynch has had some of the best matches in her division in the history of wrestling.
I like Becky Lynch, but she's becoming more overrated by the day as well.
With Trish, I'm going to speak perfectly honest on Trish. Yes, Trish.
Thank you, Trish. Is all I'm going to say is thank you, Trish, because she looked at me when I was at Money in the Bank. That's all I'm going to say.
The woman is beautiful. So yeah,
Mark.
I don't mind.
I think what people are forgetting as well is, yes, Trish Stratus shouldn't be in WWE, but the funny thing is, though, is without her, where would Starks be?
Yeah, Zoe Starks getting a rub. Let's face it.
But she's no more over.
Called up from
NXT. No more people want to see her than wanted to see her before. Whereas if she just had a one-on-one problem with Becky Lynch, she could at least showcase what she can do, not here's what my 50-year-old auntie can do.
Gosh, she's 50, man.
She's not even 50.
48, I think, right? Just allow me.
No, because that's 2 years over, and we don't have that.
All right, let's get a Ricochet Logan Paul.
Yeah, let's go to the match that generally should not be on the main card.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this match. I ain't gonna lie.
This is a match
Reece,
for.
You're a Debbie Downer, you know that?
This is
No,
this is.
I've got no interest in this match. I've got no interest in this match personally. I've got no interest in Ricochet until he actually learns to have a character.
I think this could be match of the night. A potential match of the year contender if it's as silly as they can make it, as in just like athletically silly. There you go. Thanks, Ravi. Thanks.
I've got no issue with that.
As long as she's on telly, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every time Trish on TV, I'm glued to the screen.
Yeah. Look, with Ricochet and Logan Paul, this is going to be this is going to be your flippy, floppy match that everyone seems to love these days. What I'm going to say about Logan Paul, though, the man works. I'll give him that, man. When he has a match, he's the best non-worker I've seen in wrestling, taking it so quickly. You know, his match against Roman, or one-on-one match against Roman at Saudi, was fantastic, and it shouldn't have been. I think this is going to be a killer match. It's going to get everyone excited. It's going to get everyone off their feet. I think it opens SummerSlam. I think it's the opening match. It's the perfect match to open because it get everyone up and excited. They're going to see dives and jumps and some awesome moves, all that, and it's going to get everyone excited and buzzed. And it should be the opening match. But look, there's nothing to this match. It's the fact that they keep flipping into each other the last few months. That's the story, ain't it? It's nothing in it.
Yeah, definitely. Hello, Luca. Good to see you, mate.
It's what a part-timer should do, though. As I've just said, a part-timer shows up, quick issue with somebody, quick match with somebody, back out again.
Yeah. And should never be champion in any
division.
division.
Them into the big shows, leave them out of the smaller shows, make sure they get their Saudi dates, make sure when we do a show in the UK that he's there because people really recognise him off YouTube. That's they've booked Logan Paul, and Logan Paul himself has carried himself absolutely perfectly to the point where I think I care more about Ricochet because he's having this match. That's what a part-timer should do.
It's fair.
Compare that to when Brock Lesnar fought him. I cared less about Ricochet because I knew what was going to happen.
I do like Brock against the little guys, though.
Brock's best matches have been guys that are around 220 to 240. That's why that's like I said, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson now, AJ Styles, Kurt Angle.
Matches with Kofi Kingston and Ricochet, both guys who are just a ticky over or under 200 pounds, were both absolute insults to the talent that he buried.
To be fair,
I would have done the same thing.
To be fair, Brock Lesnar would destroy them. So
I don't really care what he would really do, because at the end of the day, we know it's not real. So give the defending champion or the aspiring challenger a little bit. 3 minutes at least. Show that Kofi could do something. Maybe he catches Brock with the SOS, gets a 2 count. Brock's a bit surprised. Not the fact that he beat Kofi in like 6 seconds and then Kofi just had to forget about it.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway, we're done with Brock and his stupid everything. This is going to be great fun with a part-timer like Logan Paul and Ricochet.
I'm gonna go Ricochet for the win.
Okay.
I think Ricochet gets to it. I don't see, like, if Logan Paul wins, where does it go from there? Ricochet
nowhere.
Because Logan, as everyone says here, Logan Paul's not going to be on Raw the next night, is he? So Ricochet needs to bounce. Big up your him.
All right, we're all round Reds if you think about it. United, Liverpool, Arsenal. This is actually full on like red. This is a red conference. Anyone is watching, please do like, share, and subscribe. Anybody wants to get the predictions in, get them in. I'll take them all. They'll be logged on this one. Don't worry, because we've got a few things coming up soon. We do have a quiz very soon as well. Everyone's welcome to take part, so that's going to be fun. But we're still carrying on through our matches. So Brock Lesnar's biggest fan. Who are you going for this match? Are you going Ricochet? Or are you going Logan Paul?
I will find you. I will find where you live.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to. I'm home alone next week. You're more than welcome to find me and kill me. There'll be no witnesses.
I'm going to say Logan Paul here. I
You're
think
gonna
it's
go.
about time he got. I think it's
Yep.
about time he got a win. And I don't think
Yep.
Ricochet losing hurts him.
I just want to make this clear. Eilidh has said this numerous times.
But don't worry, Billy. Don't worry, Billy. And God, I mean, if anyone out the group chat's watching, don't worry. I can't claim to be an Arsenal fan. I don't watch the games. You see.
You watch what you can when you can. You're very busy.
It's fine, mate. I don't watch the games. Armchair fan. What was it? The Dunfermline game at the weekend. That was disappointing.
I saw that. I saw your post. I didn't realize you. Obviously, I didn't watch the game because it's not my thing.
Yeah, no, that was disappointing. Speaking of disappointments, yeah, we probably want Ricochet to do more, but I think Logan Paul has to win here.
It'd be actually crazy, and I say this in the nicest way. I actually wouldn't mind if this was like a double disqualification, because it actually leads to something after SummerSlam, like something at Payback, where you get a compelling rematch. But it's not going to happen. I'm going to go. When you look at his matches, he won the tag match. He had the match with the Miz at SummerSlam, coincidence last year. Lost to Roman. Lost to Seth. Had a great spot at the Royal Rumble. Got the key elimination obviously over Seth, and then he cost Seth the elimination chamber match for the US title. He had a spot where he was completely stupid at Money in the Bank. Obviously, I was looking bang on at that. That was really stupid by Logan Paul. His timing was way off. Luckily,
Ricochet did well, protect him.
Was coming to that. Ricochet actually stopped him potentially breaking his neck, which could have happened. I'm going to go on this one. I think I would like to. I don't think they're going to do a rematch. Shame, really. I think they could have done. I'm going to go coincidence. I'm going to go, pardon the pun, for a move. I'm going to go one and done. I'm going to say Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet's getting a big match here. Like, people might not like this match because it's Logan Paul, but Ricochet's getting a lot of eyes on him in this match because it is Logan Paul. So I'm happy for Ricochet for that. Getting paid, man. And
if something follows from it, I'm okay with that. If something follows from this, I'm okay with that. But I just don't think they will.
No, that's the problem.
Could it build to Logan Paul going after Gunther if he did win, though?
But that makes no sense, though.
Gunther destroy him.
How not?
It just doesn't make sense because that just seems to be like the typical it just seems to be the thing for Logan, where Logan just walks into any situation. I actually want to see Logan build something.
When we think about what we know about Logan Paul, he loves the attention, he loves the spotlight, he loves the records, the adulation, and he also doesn't like it when people are talking about people other than him. People will be talking a lot about Gunther as we approach Payback, as it will be his last defense before
potentially breaking or losing
before he'll break the record. So what if Logan Paul's like, okay, I'll play spoiler then?
No, that's a fair point.
Payback's going to be a pay-per-view. What is it, September after, ain't it?
Yes.
That could be a throwaway pay-per-view, so that could be a chance then. But I don't know.
I hope it's not. I hope they don't treat it as a throwaway, because Payback is when the whole Roman thing started as well. I think they'll treat Payback seriously.
I'm hoping they do. They finish this at SummerSlam personally, but
yeah,
I wonder what they do with Logan Paul in the future, because he's got a 3-year deal, so he's going to have matches. To be fair to Logan Paul, he hasn't been in a single stinker, and he's carried his own. So it's fair props to the guy. It's fair props to the guy. It should be a good match. Should be, for me, out of all these matches I'm looking at right now, it should be the opener. So I'm going to be the opener or the midway through match of the card. It's going to be in one of them places.
I would have this one. I don't know about you guys, because it depends on how the match goes. I would actually have this just before the main event.
No.
The reason I would have
it would be too much. I'd put like Shayna and Ronda on before the main event.
Do you know what? That is what will happen. Shayna and Ronda will be before the main event.
wouldn't surprise me. The only reason I would have these two just before the main event, we already know what is expected from what the match we're about to come on to. Sorry, not the the match we're about to come on to.
That'll be an hour long, isn't it?
Is going to go distance, but just think about the energy they'd have to actually raise just to eclipse Logan Paul. That's something you actually physically have to do as well. It takes a lot to get above him, but he got a great match out of Seth as well, and Seth got a great match out of him. I'm gonna say I've already went for Ricochet on this one. Billy's saying I think Logan versus LA Knight is going to happen very soon, and Logan beats him for a title. Most hated man beats most over man. Obviously, because I believe LA Knight will win a title soon. That's fair. That's fair. I totally understand that.
Match. Yeah, that could be the match.
I'd have that match at I'd have that match at Survivor Series.
Yeah, that's a Survivor Series match, definitely.
Yeah. Match
Would
number
technically
4.
work if Logan Paul's a Raw guy and LA Knight's a SmackDown guy.
Put them in War Games against each other. It'd be funny. Next match is the Tribal Sleep for the Undisputed Championship. It's Roman Reigns defending the title with Paul Heyman and Solo versus apparently the next Tribal Chief, Yawn, Jey Uso. I think this will be a good match, but I'm bored of the bloodline. I'm just bored of they don't have any. They will not know how. They do not know how. Funnily enough, everyone talks about Cody Rhodes can't finish the story. They don't even know how to finish this one.
Well,
I personally think it's going to be extraordinary cinema.
I think this is going to be.
This is quite an interesting one to call. I think it will be a good match. To be fair.
Right. My problem with this match is that they pinned Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, right? I don't know if Roman's going to take 2 pinfall losses in a row. This is the issue they got right now. So a lot of the story is the whole time the story has been Jey and Roman. That's been the whole story for 3 years. You know, they come to the right conclusion by that now. Now it's how they end this. Now, as soon as Roman loses these titles, I think we can all assume that Roman's going to go away for a while. You know,
or permanently.
Yeah, you know, go away for quite a bit and take a few months off. I mean, this one's really difficult because Roman got pinned at Money at the Bank. This is my issue with it. But then I don't think Jey Uso should lose, because if Jey Uso loses, what's the next step? What's the next step in this story? Are we going solo Roman next? Is that where we're going solo Roman, because they've had that interaction with each other, and the way, you know, Roman stopped Solo from spiking Jey on SmackDown the other week, and you know, in the tribal court and all that.
I think you have Jey Uso banished from basically anything to do with bloodline. Obviously, when you lose tribal combat, you are dismissed. They imply that you're dead. We know that they're not going to kill him on the air, but you know, he'll be kicked out essentially. He'll be punished in some severe way. Where's Jey Uso going to go? Oh dear, who could Jey Uso turn to in his hour of need? Who'll be there but Mr. Sami Zayn?
Oh, that's a good point, actually, because Kevin Owens is broken.
Kevin Owens is out injured, and Sami Zayn needs something to do.
Like have his title stripped off him because it's a long-term injury.
Or Jey Uso takes the title.
Nah, I'd rather not.
Right, that Billy's right though. I do think The Rock will be at SummerSlam. And
what has Sami Zayn got to have tribal combat with him because Sami was an Uso?
I think no. To be Sami Zayn, I think Sami Zayn's going to take off time now with Kevin Owens, and they come back together. That's what usually happens to tag teams.
I think you have to move. If that's the case, you have to move the titles off them as well.
The titles, yeah. I think I've got this feeling The Rock will turn up at SummerSlam. With he's got nothing to do. Let's face it. With the strikes,
Hollywood strikes,
that's why Cena's been about recently. I think The Rock will. This would be interesting if The Rock turns up in this match and costs Roman the title. That would be very interesting because they have to then. If The Rock is at SummerSlam and he's involved in this match in any kind of way, the problem is everyone of them think they're seeding the sows to WrestleMania 40 between Roman and Rock. And we know Vince doesn't like promoting matches that he knows is never going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it's in, because I can see The Rock being there. I really can. So, or something, because Jay made a point of the elders about this match, didn't he? He made that point. And what I will say about the Bloodline story, there are a lot. If you go in their story, last few years, all the details in when they say things, there's a reason for when they say it and what happens in their matches and at the end of the stories and that. Yeah. So I've got a feeling there's going to be something in this match that's got to do with someone else in the Bloodline. But my whole thing is actually, I think Roman wins because I think we're getting new members of the Bloodline.
That's a fair shout, and I just want to do this one time only, just because I can. Where is it? Camera solo for 1 minute. There we go. Little people's eyebrow for everybody. And we're back to it. Okay. I will get Eilidh's prediction in a moment. I'm going to come to Eilidh last because I actually have something very different. I would be happy if The Rock appears at SummerSlam. I don't want to see The Rock wrestle again. I'm The Rock's biggest fan, but I don't want to see him wrestle ever again. I think he has no reason to. But what I actually have in mind is Jey Uso wins this, but he wins by disqualification. So it completely nullifies the tribal combat whole stipulation in one. It prevents him from being kicked out, which will then lead to I think it will still lead to a follow-up. I don't think they're going to do all this in one. But I don't see why people think Jey Uso is world championship material. There's people that have literally written Twitter threads on why Jey Uso is a world title contender. I'm saying this now. If I was a owner of a wrestling company, Jey Uso wouldn't even be in a world title match. I think Jey Uso's good, but I would not book him in a singles world title match. I don't think he is capable of doing that. People call him main event Jey Uso. That's fine. I've got no issue with that. But I don't see anything about him that screams world championship material. I never have. But he's never lost to Roman, which makes it even more so, will he finally lose this time? I'm tempted to go Jey Uso wins this by some form of disqualification. But again, that takes away from the whole thing.
It's no holds barred, don't it?
I think so. I think there's
so much the only way it gets DQ'd is if there's outside interference. Which
takes away from combat.
It's why Roman's stopped. Roman stopped Solo from spiking Jey.
This match, this match is no DQ for a reason. It's no DQ for a reason because they gotta have shenanigans involved in this match.
And about 500 ref bumps.
This is me with Jamie's booking hat on. What I would do, right? This is me, right? I would literally have Solo have enough of Roman in the match, barking orders at him. Roman's not getting this match won, and Roman's starting to take it out on Solo, and Solo just snaps, and Samoan spikes Roman, and Jey goes to the top turnbuckle and big splash, gets the 1, 2, 3, yeah? Gets his hand raised. Then I'd bring out Damian Priest, cash in on Jey immediately, win the title, bring it back to the Judgment Day.
Judgment Day, good thing.
And then kick out Finn Balor. And kick out Finn Balor.
Finn Balor, Seth Finn, because I think Finn's going to beat Seth. And then Judgment Day have all the belts. That is how I would book it.
Again, Judgment Day at the moment, I can see that happening, but would they have Roman lose and it be an afterthought?
I did say though months back that if Roman doesn't lose at WrestleMania, he has to lose at SummerSlam because the whole flaming gimmick started at SummerSlam. The whole thing started with the SummerSlam return where he speared Bray Wyatt.
But then has all of the drama. I'm sort of arguing against my own point. Do they feel that all the drama's gone out of Roman losing now because he already lost because he took the pin at Money in the Bank?
I don't think he. I still think that I was surprised they won. I had Roman and Solo to win, but I said if Roman and Solo lose, it has to be Solo that takes the pin because it feeds more to that split as well. Then Roman lose. If Roman's to lose the big one, he has to lose on a major pay per view. I still think people say Money in the Bank's a major pay per view. I think Money in the Bank's a great pay per view, but it's not one of the. I still call it the big four. I'm not into the big five when Money in the Bank's a big pay per view. Money in the Bank should be back on WrestleMania, in my opinion, as a one-off match, like rather than a full-on pay per view. I think when you look at that, it either ends at WrestleMania or it ends at SummerSlam. People take SummerSlam as people dismiss SummerSlam.
SummerSlam's the second biggest card of the year for WWE.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be. Yeah,
it is. People take away SummerSlam.
Yes,
people take away SummerSlam, and it actually insults me that people take away SummerSlam. That he shouldn't lose the title at SummerSlam. Well, the best work he ever did started at SummerSlam. So there's nothing wrong with that. And if it wasn't for SummerSlam, you would never have had one of the most interesting world title matches Roman's actually ever had, and that was against Cena, funnily enough.
Yeah,
because that was one of the people had him to get beat off Cena as well, because people thought he was going to break the record.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it's the problem I've got. I don't see Roman champion at Mania 40 because for Cody to win the WWE title, which he wants to win, not the world title, that means he'll have to win the Royal Rumble to pick his champion. And as you say, that'll be 2 years in a row. And they're on separate brands.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying about Roman losing the belt. I think Roman's going to go away for a while. I don't think you're going to see Roman for a while. And I think it could all happen in one night where Jay beats Roman, wins the title, celebrates. Roman leaves Jay in the ring to celebrate, gives him his spotlight and leaves. I just think it's going to be that. I think WWE are quite, they're not sure how to end this. So the way to end it is you just literally end it. You're just like, done.
This what I was saying earlier on. People mock Cody Rhodes for not ending the story, not finishing the story, but the WWE themselves do not know how to finish the Bloodline story.
To be fair, the way it's going now, I don't know how you finish it without. I think you just got to finish it by when Roman loses, he just goes and it's done, and then Jay wins the title, and then I'd literally have Damian Priest cash in on Jay because he's your money in. Because you got to get the WWE title back on Monday Night Raw for me if Cody's going for the WWE title. Because that's the belt he wants to win, and somehow the world title. I know they said it's a Raw title, but you know what they are in WWE.
To be fair, Billy, we already know that if Roman's on the card, they automatically put him in the main event, which at times for me isn't fair. But I understand it's going to be the main event anyway. But if they're going to have a cash in, if they're going to have a Money in the Bank cash in,
I think they are. Someone.
I would either have Seth versus Balor on first, which makes a shock Money in the Bank happening early on. It shapes up the show very nicely, or you have it right at the end of the show where it completely flips the fans.
I don't think that's the only cash in you're going to get at SummerSlam.
I think Io Sky might cash in as well, and I'm hoping she can.
I don't think Io Sky's cashing in.
Okay, now I'm looking forward to that idea.
Okay, then.
I think
I'll get to that when we get to it.
Actually, I think I have an idea what you're thinking, and if it's what I'm thinking, I like it. So I'm gonna, just because it's predictable, and frankly, you never go against predictable. I'm gonna go Roman Reigns to win this one.
Yeah, I think Roman will win it, but I'd love my idea of Jay winning it and then getting automatically cashed in on. But yeah, Roman to win. But who does Roman go against next? This is the thing. It's going to be Solo. It's going to be Solo.
I think at Payback it'll either be Lashley or with the new Hurt Business, or it'll be Roman versus Styles for the first time in 5 years.
Styles.
Sorry,
it'll be
hold on.
Brock Lesnar.
Styles is in purgatory at the moment with Karrion Cross, ain't he? So.
Or it'll be
To me-
Brock Lesnar.
I like what they're doing with Styles and Cross because Cross is like a guy that me and Eilidh rave about. I hate the fact that WWE have used him so wrongly. If there's one man that can fix Karrion Cross's career, it's AJ Styles, and so far it's actually worked really well. I love the new finish as well that Cross has got. It's absolutely brilliant.
He's got to cut his hair though. Sorry.
Yeah, I would rather
And
just
it
I would rather
worked because no one's cared about Karrion Cross.
Scarlett needs to shave his head. Scarlett just needs to tell him, sit down. Either you shave your head bald or I'm divorcing you. Just tell
'cause
him. Like,
he doesn't come across like that tough man image when he's got pretty hair flowing around everywhere. You just don't
yeah,
like.
I liked bald Cross in NXT. He actually said
Well,
it before it became Spartan.
I think we've all got Roman.
Yeah, Eilidh, you got Roman.
It's Roman. It's gonna be Roman.
Right.
Yep.
This is going to be interesting because I've got my take on this women's match.
I'm gonna say this now, and I say this in the respect of it. I'll come to you at the very end because I want to hear what you've got in mind. For me personally, if a women's cash is gonna happen, do not cash it in on the person that doesn't deserve that that blow off. Do not cash it in on Asuka when they've literally had to rebuild her entire gimmick over the whole year and a half, where she's had to go through so many changes because WWE do not treat a Japanese wrestler with respect. Nakamura's another example where they just throw them under the bus. If you're gonna have a cash in, make it a shot. Have it cash in on Charlotte or cash in on Bianca Belair. Do not cash in on Asuka. But I'm going to say this off the bat. If we're going to have a cash in on Bianca, which would mean Bianca wins this match. But then again, I don't. Because Billy's saying that Io Sky is going to get cost of her cash in by Bayley. And I think I know what Jamie was saying. I think Jamie is alluding that Bayley cashes in Money in the Bank. And I would actually like to see that because then Io Sky would be completely derailed.
Look what they do. When they interview Io Sky about being Money in the Bank, women's Money in the Bank, Bayley always says it's we. We are Money in the Bank. We are Money in the Bank holders. I've got this feeling. So this is how I think this match goes.
Go for it.
So it'll be a year to the day when Bayley came back with Io Sky and the blow up
Dakota Kai, yeah.
And she looks like a sex doll. I'm sorry, but I just
a likable one.
And
I like Dakota
and Bianca was champion, and that's when it all squared off. That feud has been going now since last SummerSlam. I think somehow Io Sky goes to cash in but gets taken out and is laid out, and the briefcase is just there, and Bayley cashes in and makes it a 4-way towards the end of the match, and then pins Bianca to become women's champion.
It would technically be void though.
Because they say we all the time. That is
I know, but surely it's got to be like somewhere written in that contract and the Money in the Bank match winner.
I saw someone not climb the ladder to win the briefcase and just catch it and become champion.
Yeah, so, we all remember James Ellsworth.
So they can twist it in some way. I just feel like Bayley always says it's we are Money in the Bank champions.
What about Jamie's just put Billy's just put in the chat that Jamie could be on something if I think Charlotte wins because the crowd won't want her winning, and then Bayley winning is a win but a loss as they like Io. Well, here's a thought. They haven't done a particular match I've suggested in well over a decade. It's a decade and a half that this match last happened.
On a fall, I agree.
No. What I'm suggesting is if Jamie's theory is correct, where the cash-in goes, I'm putting in James is saying Asuka, so I'm just quickly putting that in. What about
A Playboy
Your feet-
pillow fight. Both.
No,
But
no, I want women's wrestling, not Vince. What about if, say, Bailey were to cash in, it becomes voided on Raw or SmackDown. So it'll be on Raw. Sorry, because actually no, is that what am I saying? It's SmackDown. What the fuck? This because I'm too
SmackDown,
tired.
it'd be SmackDown for Asuka's title. It's because
Yeah,
they're both the same now.
It's cause Raw doesn't have a women's champion. Let's be real. They have an NPC.
I agree with that.
When you look at if it gets voided at Payback, you have Bianca screwed, Charlotte Flair unfortunately, but screwed. Asuka has to have her rematch because she's screwed anyway. Well, Billy, if you can leave if you want. That's cool, but you'll be missing what I'm about to suggest. So there's your 4. So Bianca, Charlotte, Asuka from the triple threat. You have Bailey. Then you have Io. They haven't had a championship scramble match in 15 years. I would have the women's title defended the championship scramble.
That's an objection. Sorry.
I don't care about your objection.
It's not been a decade and a half since they last had a championship scramble. In fact, Naomi won the SmackDown Women's title in a championship scramble at WrestleMania.
So they did, but yeah, nobody remembers that one. I mean, a proper championship scramble. That was the last proper championship scramble was Unforgiven. I don't care about the crap that they had. I don't care about the crap they had at WrestleMania because that was crap. That's why I forget about it.
My only thing with the Bailey situation that I came up with, obviously there was pictures of her in a knee brace, weren't they? Were playing with a cat. So this is me going on that her knee's fine.
I'm allowed to be wrong, Billy. Shut up. Nobody remembers that WrestleMania match.
If her knee is fine, they go with this situation. I just feel like there's got to be something funny that happens between them two cashing in this thing, because if Bailey's the ego-driven maniac that she's meant to be, that's her character, ain't it? She's ego-driven. She's a self-centered maniac. Basically, that's what her character is. She shouldn't really be happy for EO cashing in, should she? Because she's only ever wanted the title since she came back. That's been her whole goal. That's her story.
And she's failed every time.
And she's got an opportunity here to steal it. And then you have shenanigans after. I just feel like, or you just go out EO does cash in and she screws her. But screwing EO out the title would be really out of all the it wouldn't taste right, because Sky's special, man, and she should win it if she's going to cash it in my opinion. So
the only two genuinely good wrestlers that SmackDown has is Asuka and Io Sky. Bailey's great, but she's fallen off for some reason. I don't know why. She's just fallen off.
Such a long layoff for her. Such a long layoff.
But in terms of like that SmackDown roster, Io Sky and Asuka are different level.
And Bianca's got to turn heel. She has to turn. This could be a way of turning her heel as well, because she's as stale as it comes.
She tried to turn heel, but the problem was she attacked Charlotte Flair to try and do it, and she got massively cheered.
Yep. She should have attacked Asuka.
She attacked both of them. But Asuka isn't really that over as a face either, because she won the belt as a heel.
She won the belt in a heelish fashion.
Yeah. So you can't expect a face attacking two heels to then get booed because she attacked them. People wanted to see her do that. This phone's fallen again. Why do you
I think the only other way Bianca's good, but she has slipped in some capacity and it's not helping her. If you're going to turn Bianca heel, logically dictates she has to smash into Io Sky after, if Bianca doesn't take the pin and it's Charlotte's the one that takes the pin for the Money in the Bank, which would be absolutely funny, and Billy will cry. And I'm all for that. If Io Sky was to cash in, you cash in on Flair. Bianca, then obviously again she's been screwed out of regaining her title. This will be the third time she's tried to regain and she's been screwed. Ideally, that's where you go for. That's what I would do. That's just StreamYard deciding that it wants to stop sharing. I'll bring it back up. But that's logically what I would do. If you're going to have her if you're going to have her turn heel, you have to take out an Io Sky, who the fans who the fans genuinely like the most. Fans like Asuka, but Io Sky's just on a different stratosphere. Plus Bianca Belair, I agree, she's going stale as a babyface. But the problem is, she's in the one role that she's glued in. She's stuck in the Super Cena role.
Yeah, she needs to go with her husband and join the New Hurt business. That'll be the way I'd go. That heel faction of that heel business, because they make them heels. There's no doubt about it. So
I hope Carmelo Hayes gets added.
And Carmelo Hayes added to it. Yeah, that'd be great, man. Look, Charlotte Flair's been added to this match for a reason, for my opinion, and it's for Bianca Belair's benefit. I think, because I don't see Asuka walking out as champion in this match. I think everyone was pretty shocked that Asuka beat Bianca Belair in Saudi. I think that was quite a shocking result in some ways.
Yeah,
because she didn't think a title would change hands in Saudi. So, and I don't think going forward, she's going to be a champion they would want going forward towards like where we are now, Summerslam, between now and January. I just don't see it. I think, I just think there's going to be something with these Money in the Bank briefcases at this SummerSlam. I think this is the first Money in the Bank in 5 years that a woman ain't cashed in on the same night at Money in the Bank. So
it is. Yep, that is true.
We got two Money in the Bank champions going into SummerSlam, all around title matches. They're all heavily involved in title matches. So, she's not involved in the women's match, but she's been part of this story in SmackDown in the last few weeks.
She has, yeah.
Finn Balor and Seth, they're going for the title, but we all know Thingy's been involved in that story with him and Finn going back and forth a couple of times. So there's intrigue in these matches with the Money in the Bank. And I praise WWE for that, because you put some intrigue into something. That means we're going to have to watch to see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. So going full on now, mate. Your prediction? You're going to go Bayley champion?
If her need's all right, I'm going to go Bayley somehow becomes champion in this match. Yeah, I'm really going out there on. Really out there.
Bayley. Okay, I'm locking as a prediction. Bayley locked in. Eilidh.
Yep.
I don't see a change here. I think Asuka's going to retain. And I think Asuka's going to retain because this basically, it resolves the Charlotte and Bianca sort of, I deserve it. Asuka coming out and being like, well, actually, neither of you deserve it because I just beat both of you. Makes sense. I could see Charlotte winning it and being the one cashed in on just so they could say that she's 17-time. But again, I don't think they want that to be an afterthought. I think they want that to be a main event. I think they'll try and make it that Charlotte Flair is a babyface when she does that. I don't think this is the time. I don't think Charlotte needs to worry. She'll get at least 4 more chances at a Women's World Championship between now and WrestleMania.
Very true.
But it's not time to take it off Asuka yet. Asuka's barely had it. It doesn't make sense to put it back on Bianca Belair, and I don't see where you go if Charlotte's got it. And I don't think the Money in the Bank is going to feature in this one properly. If it does, it'll be Io tries to do something and she'll be taken out. Maybe she'll just be taken out by someone in the match who just isn't having it. We recently saw Roman Reigns do that with Austin Theory. I think that was last SummerSlam. Or Brock Lesnar even did it with Austin Theory. One of those two attacked Austin Theory when he came down trying to cash in.
Clash. Because mine
SummerSlam, punched him out there, but I mean at SummerSlam, it was one of the competitors actually. I think it was Brock. He just wailed on him. Just went,
Brock. Yeah, Brock took him out because that's when Roman got the advantage.
I think
That's
the
when
Money in the Bank stuff's coming in the next match. I don't see why you would have the briefcase involved both times, or like teasing it both times, like proper seriously. I think Asuka's going to win this one, and on to the next. I don't know who the next is, but it'll be on to the next.
I think Asuka's next opponent, if she retains,
Could it be Indy Hartwell, or did she go to Raw? I think she went to Raw, actually.
I think, see, after that cryptic post on NXT, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it. I wouldn't be surprised if Asuka retains. Her next opponent's Cora Jade as a shock promoted superstar.
Well, remember, Cora was in the conversation to be
promoted,
drafted across. And I
think
draft.
that'd be a great statement. I think it'd be a great statement putting Cora straight into the main event. She's genuinely that good. If it's not her, Roxanne Perez, they'd buy into it. I think Cora Jade would be the more logical answer.
Who just lost Dana Brooke on the main roster, though.
Are you talking about Cora Jade's cryptic tweet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cora Jade's done in NXT.
I want her in the main roster. I want her in the main. I've always liked Cora Jade.
Maybe she joins Bailey's group, part of the Damage
Control. Just lost to Dana Brooke. I mean, there has to be some form of rehab you go through after that.
Yeah, you just watch a Brooklyn Brawler match. That's rehab for anybody.
It's career rehab. She just lost to Dana Brooke.
I think there will be surprise comebacks at this pay-per-view, like last SummerSlam.
I think there's a weird intent.
I have a major surprise comeback, but I will talk about it.
I have a crazy shock return that I think would catch a lot of. Actually, I think a lot of people would want it to happen, but I've got one that will crazy shock people. For the record, I'm going with. Normally, I go with gut or brain for these predictions, but I'm going for heart. I'm going for Asuka to retain because I do not want this title.
Brain if you don't have one, dude.
Shut up! I do have one. I'm the one that booked the savior of Dom Mysterio, not the bloody North American title reign, which is going to be an absolute waste on him. And I'm saying that I think it'll be a waste.
Fine, give him some time to be a solo champion.
He didn't need to be that champion though. He didn't need that title for me. There was one title he should have been given. He didn't need the North American title.
In fact, but the US wouldn't have meant as much because Theory's a heel and we don't like him.
Did you see that Dominic? Did you see that Dominic sort of won the world title at a house show?
Yeah, he actually put. I like that. I think it's quite funny. I love this pairing. I wanted this to come back. Eilidh, remember that when Nakamura returned? I said I want Rick Boogs back on the guitar. Him or the violin guy. I love the violin.
Maybe Rick Boogs is scared to partner up with Nakamura again because bad luck basically. Maybe he feels like fate just stops him and Nakamura from
as long as they keep Rick Boogs away from madcap injury handler Moss or
keeping people away from things. I'd quite like them to keep Seth Rollins away from World Championships. Yeah, sorry, kind of taking the reins on this one, and the Roman reigns, if you will.
God Almighty, what?
I'm fed up with Seth Rollins. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think he is the most disingenuous babyface in modern wrestling.
I agree.
I think MJF's the most disingenuous heel in modern wrestling. A guy who is just doing whatever it is.
Not a heel anymore.
Exactly. I said this to you. This will be the beginning of the end of MJF as a heel. When he was finally getting over his babyface, like he's like that too much. AEW like that too much, and their fans will play up to him as a heel for the same exact reasons WWE won't play up to Seth Rollins as a face properly because they're not making him stop doing the things heels do. Mocking injuries, underhand tactics in matches, really obnoxious promos.
Triple H for you. Triple H for you.
And
I don't
yeah,
think
and
he's
that's
a babyface though. I think he's a tweener. I don't think he's
Yeah.
an out-and-out babyface.
But
I think he's a tweener.
tweener to me has to then be clearly defined that when you are a heel, like so as a tweener, when you are against a babyface, you are the heel. When you are against the heel, you are the babyface. Why?
Yeah.
When Seth Rollins is against a supposed heel in Finn Balor, is Seth Rollins acting like the single most dislikable person
Oh, Finn's the babyface in
in
this match.
history?
Oh, right. Because when Finn did it, but in their Money in the Bank match, when Finn did that,
I think she is, Ravi. I
excellent
think she is
interview.
personally.
Yeah. When Finn did that excellent that promo before the week before Money in the Bank in London, after he did that, I was like, oh shit, I actually want Finn to win now because I feel for him actually, because I like Seth Rollins as a wrestler, tremendous worker, right?
Yes.
The problem is he's not over. It's his song is, his music's over.
Mm-hmm.
Steph is not over. He's not actually over, and I think he knows that, but he's feeding into the music and what the fans do because that's the only way he's going to get crowd response right now.
But that makes a difference for somebody. If they know something, they actually buy into it. It actually will get him over.
Yeah,
I've said this before about Seth Rollins. I think when he was made world champion, I said it to Eilidh. I think it was the right decision to make him world champion. It was.
Yeah.
But it was not. It should never have been Edge. People always get this wrong.
It should never have been Edge. He never lost the title. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't. He doesn't need to be world champion again. Everybody knows this.
This is the thing. If we keep getting people that swear to do something and swear to do this and swear, when was the last time in WWE someone just swore to do something and then went out and did it? One of these things where it's like one of these things where it was like 12 years ago you did this to me, 9 years ago this happened to me, and I'm gonna get even, and they never do. They never actually win. And Edge should be this world champion right now because then he could have still fought Finn. Seth here doesn't make any sense.
No, it does. They've already referred it as based on that from SummerSlam from 2016. If you'd carried this with Edge's world champion with Finn Balor, that's another pay-per-view where Finn gets ruined. They've literally killed. They've killed him. They've killed.
Edge didn't have to have a long game. Edge just had to win it.
They've had 5 or 6 pay-per-view matches. I'm done with that feud over and over again. I don't want to see that ever again, ever. Fuck that shit. I don't want that ever again. I've actually swore for the first time tonight. I haven't sworn all night. It took me 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Well, then why not? Because what I would have done there is Edge wins the tournament, Priest's the champion contender, and Finn's the Money in the Bank holder. You're in the exact same place with a match you haven't actually seen that many times.
I would have been fine with that instead. I would have been. But that's the thing.
We have to have Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins this, Seth Rollins that. I'm just be a heel.
We know why Seth was given. We know why Seth was given the world title anyway, because of the fact he's actually carried the division for a lengthy period of time, where he is the main guy on Raw. He may not be likable to many people. I completely understand that, but when you think when looking Monday Night Raw, the main man on Raw is him. Until they change around and Gunther becomes the main man. At the moment, the main man on Raw isn't Cody Rhodes, it's not Gunther, it's not Brock Lesnar,
or
it's Seth
the other guy to give it to would have been Sami Zayn.
No.
The thing you got to do with Seth.
No, I wouldn't have personally.
The thing with Seth, there's one thing that claws at the back of my mind with Seth Rollins is that they've not redone this yet. They've not gone back here, but I'm hoping they do before all this bloodline thing's finished.
Survivor Series is rumored for that.
Roman Reigns has never beat Seth Rollins one-on-one.
And he never should. They had that excellent Rumble match where the ending was the disqualification, and then they just left it. It was like, that was it. All right, that's done. All right. And they just left it. They should have done a rematch Elimination Chamber.
Vince didn't want to go down the thing of having Seth and Roman at Mania because the Mania was already booked. So they just had to have a one-off match. But the problem is they've never gone back to it. And if Roman does win and beat Jay, and we just carry on this bloodline story, he's beaten everyone apart from Seth Rollins.
He's never beaten
Tozawa.
And if Finn Balor, because I think let's get to it, Finn Balor's going to beat Seth in this match.
He has on the current main roster of all the top guys. There's 4 men he's not wrestled.
Yeah,
he's not wrestled Gunter.
No.
LA Knight should be in the conversation, in my opinion. Not because he's bad, but he doesn't need to be in that conversation. He should be looking to get a mid-card title and elevating himself as a mid-card champion, working in the main event. He's not beaten Gunter.
No.
He hasn't beaten Rollins.
No.
He hasn't beaten Lashley, and he hasn't beaten Styles. He's not wrestled Styles since that Money in the Bank match in 2016. That was the last time he wrestled him.
Maybe they're always next match.
Sorry, Extreme Rules. Money in the Bank was separate. Money in the Bank was Rollins.
You may have just actually that's Roman's year up to the Rumble.
Yeah, apart from Gunther, I don't think you're going to put him and Gunther together.
Yeah, probably not.
I think they should follow up with. I think Roman has to go for either Lashley or Styles, and I think Styles should be up first.
Yeah. But the story, though, it all makes sense of him and Rollins, don't it? Because it all goes back from the 10 years ago. It goes back to the start.
Survivor Series would be perfect for them, and I think that's the plan. They're going to get Survivor Series.
Seth and
So in fact, hold on. Has he wrestled Sheamus in this current title run? I can't remember.
I think he did.
I think they had a SmackDown match, didn't they?
I can't remember.
I think they fought on SmackDown.
I think they had a match on SmackDown.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Was that not when Solo hospitalized him?
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Finn has to win this match, though. I think he has to win this match. There's no.
Okay.
I don't see. I don't know.
Fingers and toes crossed that you're right, Jamie.
I think Finn has to win this match. Obviously, got the thing with Priest with the Money in the Bank there as well. A lot of people think he's going to cost Finn the title. I think Judgment Day is not splitting up anytime soon.
Makes no sense to split them up.
They're the best thing on Monday Night Raw by a country mile.
By a long way, because much like Bloodline get their SmackDown highlight packages,
they get the Raw highlight.
Raw's always got a Judgment Day highlight package.
This is why I just feel like what I said earlier.
I think there's a change coming.
That Priest could win the title against them, and they have all the belts after this SummerSlam. That would be crazy.
That would be really good. Actually,
champion, Rhea Ripley's women's champion, and Dominic Mysterio is United States champion. There's a reason they gave Dominic the belt. There's a big reason.
How crazy would it be if you look at that IC title match? Actually, no, that's on SmackDown. It's on Raw. I had a great idea, but
there's a reason Dominic got. They wanted Dominic to have a mid-title belt. Yeah, obviously they couldn't have him beat Gunther, so they gave him the North American Championship from NXT. Right, they gave him that, and Rhea Ripley
can still work in it, and you can work in NXT now and then.
Yeah, and then Judgment Day have all the belts. I think they're the new project. I think the Bloodline stuff is starting to come to its end now. And I mean WWE see, and I think Triple H absolutely loves the Judgment Day, and I think that's the new project now. They're the new group. They're the new super group. That whole story is going to be around. And
the first major change, in my opinion, will be once Dominic Mysterio goes to the LWO and becomes the heel leader. But I've said that before in a previous show, and I still think at point it will happen. I was going to say this, and I think it might madly happen. What if that IC title match becomes Drew McIntyre taking the pin to Damian Priest? As you said, all the titles in. The shock being Damian Priest walks out of SummerSlam as the Intercontinental Champion. He's already said he can cash in on any single title. He's already said that himself. He knows the rules have changed.
If he said that and he didn't mean Roman, that would be the way I would interpret that. If it would be a waste if he said it could be any champion. And I think the only thing worse that he could do would be cash in on Rhea Ripley. But that's
That would
for
be funny.
that's for completely different reasons. That would be nonsense.
You'd have to be an utter moron, though, not to cash in on the biggest title in wrestling.
Well, we gave Austin Theory this shit. Remember, we gave Austin Theory drugs abuse.
I think
cashing in on the US title and failing.
The news about Damian Priest, though, is behind the scenes. Is not only does Triple H love him, Vince loves him as well. And if he's got Vince and Triple H's say so, this man is being pushed to the moon. He's going to win everything. So,
and everything would be if Damien cashes in on the. I know we're going back a little bit on the Roman Jey Uso thing. Does Damien win the title of Tribal Chief?
No.
Or is that not up for grabs? I just want to know who the Tribal Chief's going to be. That's the real investment.
I think the bloodline just finishes when he loses the title. That's it, it's done.
I think the Tribal Chief will. I think the whole thing of Tribal Chief will just go back to the man who actually is the Tribal Chief, and that's Rocky Johnson, the actual Tribal Chief. So maybe Rocky Johnson will just return as the Soul Man for one match, hits a drop kick on Roman Reigns, and Roman fucks off. That would be pure gold.
They're not dead.
Oh, even worse. So we'd have to have The Rock then. The Rock is the real Tribal Chief.
The Rock.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm actually no, he is. Yeah,
The Rock is the real. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, he is.
Unless you get Alpha to do it, there's still, funnily enough, there's still one other Anoa'i member, not the Fatu that went to prison, not that clown who everyone's raving about. There's one other Anoa'i member.
Ain't there? Yeah.
Yep, Lance Anoa'i's in Noah.
Yeah,
Lance Anoa'i's in M1, yeah, for Noah. I think he's gonna have a great. He won't win it, but he's gonna have a great tournament. But he won't win it. I think it'll be Jet Li, but I wish Lance Anoa'i will.
Apparently, WWE really want him as well. And
WWE want him, but he's committed to Noah. So I'm actually like, yes, finally somebody in that family's got a brain cell.
WWE have said that they are not going to sign from outside unless they really want somebody. I think they said it basically after the Jay White fiasco. We knew he was never. We knew he was never going. The fact they've saying Brian Pillman's interested, Brian Pillman Jr. Yeah, but WWE basically said, "Look, we've gone the collegiate direction. We've got a bunch of college athletes that we need to start pushing, and we've got, we've succeeded. And let's be honest, they have. I mean, the current NXT has no right to do this.
Just don't say a certain person's name because he makes me sick.
There is one match on this card that should be on here, by the way, and it's probably the second best thing that happens on Monday Night Raw every week. Viking Raiders.
No, please don't say it.
Versus the Academy. They have to. That is entertaining. I don't care what anyone says, man. That is entertaining.
I want. You know what I would have done? Just
really entertaining. That match of Raw was quality, by the way. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely.
I hope Chad Gable soon gets his solo run that he rightfully deserves.
I don't think he ever will. I think this is his gimmick, and
it's a shame. It's a shame because he is genuinely that good. The fact that he can do a deadlift German suplex. The fact that he can do a deadlift German suplex on boring Strowman says a lot.
He did it on Monday as well, against Viking Raiders as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Speaking of people going missing, Braun Strowman, anyone?
I think Bray Wyatt. I think Bray Wyatt returns.
I think Bray Wyatt could end up being, funnily enough, the next opponent for Roman Reigns as well.
There's a lot of rumors that
we'll come on to that. First of all, so Jamie, you've said Finn.
Yeah, I think Finn wins this. I think yes.
See, now I've got to weigh up if I want the disappointment because I think if I predict Finn and Finn loses, I'm going to be double annoyed. I'd rather actually sacrifice the point, say Seth's going to win, set myself up for the disappointment, and then be absolutely buzzing when Finn does it anyway.
All I hope for, and I say this in an honest perspective, that match at Money in the Bank between both men was, and I'm saying this from a live perspective, that match was fucking dreadful. It was fucking dreadful.
What, man?
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying it was that is because they took time away from Finn and they took time away from Seth.
Oh, what, Money in the Bank?
Yep, they took time away from them both. It gave them no opportunity to even get into a rhythm. Finn looked completely shot. Like Finn in that whole period of time, he looked short of work. It was like watching. It was like you're watching that one film. Can't believe I'm doing this. It's like you're waiting for that one film and it ends up being a complete dud. That's what that was. I was expecting this to be a great match between two guys that are actually at their best, where you're going to get a great wrestling match between them, where they can both sell, they can both sell a story, and you're going to feed to the crowd. We got none of that, and I'll say as well, even though he was involved in the finish, and I saw it coming anyway, Damian Priest actually ruined the match. He ruined it by being there. He should never have been there. It should have just been Seth versus Finn, and it should have went more than 12 minutes. It should have been 20 minutes.
All I want is someone to tell Damian Priest that I just want Finn to like sit and quietly say to him, it's like, look, you can use that on anything. You can use that on anyone. You can go after Roman. You could go after Jay. You could become like you could have all of it. And then isn't it all about Judgment Day at the end of the day? Like, isn't it all about how we're like all prospering? I mean, hell, this is my last chance at it, dude. So if I fail, fine, on you go. Like, there should be a little bit of that. There should be a faction with a bit of sense. It doesn't. Breaking up Judgment Day doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense for Priest to take Finn's moment of like finally getting this revenge on Seth.
What it could be, if you think about it, what it could be is both the Four Horsemen at their peak when every major member was a champion. Ole and Arn were tag champions, and Tully Blanchard was the NWA World TV champion, and Ric Flair obviously was the world champion. We nearly had that before they done a brilliant turn in 2005. We nearly had Batista as WWE champion. We nearly had Triple H as world champion. Evolution could have held both titles and ran down Raw and SmackDown. Easy.
Yep.
But they done the right thing. But they done the right thing anyway. Triple H versus Batista was actually a great match at WrestleMania. It was a great backlash match, and the Hell in a Cell was perfect.
I don't think it was as good as the WrestleMania 35 encounter.
No. 21 was perfect. Although that was funny. But we haven't had an operated faction, in my opinion. People say, "Oh, XYZ, the Bloodline's the greatest faction." There's never been a faction bigger than the Four Horsemen for a reason, because they were all champion for a reason, because they were the freaking best.
And if you look at the way Judgment Day are being booked under Triple H, it's very forceful.
He loves the Four Horsemen. That's why I think about it. Go for it.
It's very Four Horsemen like since he's taken over the booking of this group.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think Finn will win. I think they're going to get all the belts, man. I think they're going to have everything. Yeah, I literally think they're going to start running Monday Night Raw. But I would love to see Demon Finn come back for this match to beat.
I don't want that to ever happen again. After what happened at WrestleMania with the injury and all that, Finn Balor should never have lost the Hell in a Cell to Edge. And I love Edge. I know he loves Edge. We all love Edge. Demon Balor, he's now lost 3 matches in a row where he was apparently God killed Demon Balor, which is ridiculous. Finn Balor should never have lost that Hell in a Cell. He should have won, because that would have killed the feud once and for all. Edge didn't need to win that feud. It should have been Balor.
Has he lost 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Edge beat everyone in that group.
Demon won 3 in a bounce. Yeah.
No, lost 3.
Finn's got to win, and then you do Finn Seth for the 3rd time at Payback.
I didn't know that Demon Finn had been back before WrestleMania since he fought Roman.
I'm sure there was another one as well. They alluded to he had 3 losses, but I can't remember the 3rd one is. I
can't remember the order. Was the Fiend
versus Demon?
Yeah, was that before No, I suppose it was after Corbin, wasn't it?
Damon lost. That's the first time Damon lost, wasn't it?
On main roster, yeah. And I'm trying to think if Corbin, because obviously it beat Lashley and it beat Corbin. I know Lashley was before. I just can't remember when he fought Corbin.
Corbin was 20. It was just before. I think it was 2020, something like that. It was a long time ago, but that was ridiculous. And James, you're absolutely spot on, mate. 4 Horsemen legendary faction. James, get me your prediction in for the world title, mate. Are you going Finn or are you going Seth? I would only want Seth to. The reason I think Seth will win this is because they're not going to give what these men deserve. This match is not going to go anywhere near 20 minutes.
Don't know. I think this might open there.
Either one as champion. I've got no issue with. The only other member on that Raw, James is going for Seth to retain. Okay, that's
yeah,
cool.
I'm going for Finn though in this one. I think Finn has to win it.
So far we have 2 and 2. We have 2 and 2 for predictions. Jamie and well, obviously I think Eilidh's going to go Finn, but I've not noted her prediction down yet.
Oh, Jamie and I already said that. Seth.
Oh, you've went Seth. Sorry. So it's actually
I said I'm going to cushion the disappointment by at least getting a point in the predictions.
I actually think, and there's a crazy thing, right? Even though he has that ridiculous song, I still think Seth is the main guy on Raw and he should still be world champion. But Finn's not a bad idea.
Then how do you do Finn? See, I think you're going to have Finn Seth again at Payback, right? Because I don't know what else you do with these just yet. But if you have Finn Seth at Payback, it would make sense if they're all 1-1 going into that.
I think you could do that. I think you could.
And Finn wins here, and then they have another match at Payback, and just Finn wins that, and Finn carries on. So I think if Finn wins it, you got that story with Judgment Day there with Priest, who's got his back, but he's always going to be champion eventually, you know. So that's the story going forward there. It's just within what you do with Seth. Does Seth go after Roman? I don't know. It's the same what's going to happen in the next match we're going to talk about now. But
what happened? I'm going to give my prediction now. I think. See the segment they did. This is why I think there's actually a change coming to Seth's character at last. The segment with the contract signing, he was completely surrounded by the Judgment Day. He was completely surrounded. Obviously, the fans were still singing his song, which actually made it more interesting to the whole situation. But not one moment of that segment was Seth joking around or acting like that. He was dead serious.
We've had moments like this before from Seth. I thought he turned after he crushed the Miz.
After what happened,
he didn't change his attitude at all.
I know, but I don't think you can continue to have him joking around where Finn has completely brutalized him week on week on week, where the Judgment Day continue to try and force intimidation on him. Eventually you have to make him snap and go dead serious. I'm waiting for the Seth Rollins that was an absolute nightmare after he lost the Universal title, when he went full on like visionary, where he was completely cynical. I'm waiting for that. But I still think you're going to get something out of that. But I think the only reason Seth will retain is because they will not give these guys 20 minutes. I think if you go past 20 minutes, Finn has the better tank in him. I think Finn would take it. In a 20-minute match, I think Seth losing a 20-minute match is very rare as well.
Yeah, no, I get that. And what's even more rare is the next match. One of the competitors ever going 20 minutes, because he's rubbish, isn't he? He's just
come on.
So boring.
Cody's promos are
Brock
boring.
Lesnar is such a waste of TV time.
This is my most interesting match of the night.
I'm waiting for Cody's promos to get better.
Yeah,
but even though he's a great worker.
You gotta wait a long time for that.
I think Cody has to win.
Yeah.
And I think one of two men come back at the end of this match. One man we've mentioned, and the other we haven't. Obviously, Bray Wyatt. Word is he's now working with The Undertaker. Now that should be a great pairing. As long as we get leader Bray Wyatt back, very excited for that. Bray Wyatt was obviously, he was the trainee of Cody Rhodes in Tough Enough Style NXT.
Correct.
Easy story there. Bray Wyatt is good at playing on the past, just easy on the puppets, easy on the Uncle Howdy nonsense, as in get that completely to fuck.
Yeah,
I'm just going to stop sharing. Since we're on the last one anyway, I'm just going to stop sharing now because we're all talking about the same one anyway, so I'm just going to take that off.
But the other man, I think I could give you 3 guesses and you would get it. You might even get it in 1. Who's the other man I think could return?
I don't even know that at the moment.
Let me just. Cody. I was going to say, so it's to confront Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton.
Yes. If he's fit, Randy Orton is perfect.
Kurt Angle already confirmed on his podcast that Randy Orton is fit and healthy and he's good to go. I've said it before in this show, and I stand by it. I do not want Randy Orton back wrestling because his back is completely fucked. Even though he's had that spinal fusion surgery, Randy Orton's one of the best I've ever seen. I do not want to see him wrestle again. I just don't. But if he returns against Cody Rhodes, then fine. That'd be a great swan song for him.
I think he will come back, but if Randy comes back, he's got to do something with Matt Riddle, ain't he?
He has to RKO Riddle. He has to RKO Matt Riddle.
You have to have that finish there, don't you? Look, I think we're all going to probably say Cody's going to win this match, and I think he will.
James is also saying Cody.
I'm hoping it's just a Texas Bull Rope match because I think that's what it will be.
That's what it has to be.
I think that was leaked after Brock won.
I think they've tried to change it. I think it's quite funny. They've tried to change it around by saying the match is just going to be called a rubber match. They've deliberately tried to force people to forget about the bull rope, but everybody knows it's going to be a Texas bull rope because it was a signature match.
And Lesnar's going to bust because that's what he does. He don't care about the rules because who's going to tell Lesnar he can't bust?
He will bleed for sure.
This could be the main event, you know. I know everyone thinks it might be Roman and Jay, but it's Lesnar and Cody. This could actually be the main event, depending on what they got planned. It all depends what they got planned on 2 matches. With this, I've been thinking, like, what does Cody do after winning this match? Like, I'm trying to look down the roster and think, who's Cody going to feud with now? Because the whole point of Cody not being champion is because he's not going for adversity yet, has he? So they gave him Brock Lesnar. There's enough adversity there. Jesus Christ. Who's next? And I'm thinking, if no new people come back, I like the Orton and thingy shouts. I think that's a great idea. Cody Gunther could be the next. Because
Gunther would tear him a new arsehole.
Because it's about Cody going through adversity, ain't it? You've gone through
hard
Lesnar,
time.
Then you're going through Gunther, and you gotta get through all this, and then you're eventually gonna get your title win at Mania. Because
how would you feel about Nakamura?
I want Nakamura to get.
He needs
to be.
Nakamura versus.
That was a stupid heel turn. That was a really stupid heel turn. The way they'd done that as well. Like that was just weird.
I was okay with it. You know, stay out of my business sort of thing. Yeah.
I would like that, but there's one other person I'm thinking of that could be a real shock for Cody, and it would be a very good throwback.
Ted DiBiase.
No, not that type of throwback. But I'm thinking based on name alone, and I'm also thinking of NWA, WCW. Why I'm thinking of this man could be a perfect shock feud for Cody Rhodes. I'll also give you 3 guesses.
So you're talking about who's currently around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not an injured guy, and you're not talking about Nick Aldis or anything.
He's not injured. He's in clean health,
Okay.
and he is awesome.
Roll back.
And that's not the Miz, by the way, by saying he's
Yeah,
awesome.
no,
I'm not referencing the Miz. I'm just saying this guy is genuinely awesome. And to make it easier, he is somebody that I've said on this channel before that I absolutely adore.
Not Ciampa. Was he on Raw or SmackDown?
He's on neither.
Oh.
What about Baron Corbin?
Not him.
Are you on about Rex Steiner? You on about old Rex Steiner, are you? So I think I think he's going to be called up eventually. He has to be.
Cody Rhodes versus Braun Breaker would actually be a very interesting first feud for Breaker on the roster.
More adversity. Yeah, I think that's what's interested me in this match. I think we all know Cody's going to win it because that's the journey he's on. Because they are going to make him champion at Mania. That is the story. So it's who Cody fights now. Randy Orton though is a shout. That is the shout. And I read somewhere that Bray Wyatt is basically ready to go as well, and they're looking for some surprises at SummerSlam, but not surprises of guys that they've got to bring into the company. It's already company guys that are been out, or things like that for a while, or people that in NXT that you would be shocked that came up. So that's why either this could either main event or the Roman match. It all depends on what they're planning to end, how they're planning to end each match. Because I think one of these matches are going to have someone comes back at the end of in one of these matches, and that's going to have to be the main event because everything that goes on in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cody beats Brock in a brawling match, in a Texas ballroom match. Bloody horrible mess. Cody eventually wins, and then Orton RKO's him out of absolutely nowhere through the crowd. Like no music or anything, just out of nowhere. He's celebrating on the ropes. He comes into the middle of the ring. The hard cam is staying on Cody the whole time, and out of nowhere, RKO. And then Cody's a bloody mess on the floor after that match, and Orton's just standing above him, and then as the SummerSlam finishes.
I personally hope if Orton comes back, the RKO is just retired because it's having a lot of impact on him. For me, wild scenario, I would still have that DDT that he does. I think that's awesome. But for me personally, Randy Orton's finish should be that that scoop snap power slam he does, and then he literally just punts their head off. The punt kick should be his finish going forward. Yeah, not the RKO.
I think he spoke about that recently about wanting to bring the punt kick back, didn't he?
I think he was asked not to do it because like it was around the same time the stomp got banned, right?
Yeah, and then they eventually brought them both back.
They brought the stomp back, so they could obviously bring the punt back. Yeah, I think I would agree.
And he doesn't have to do it in every single match because let's be real, Orton can win a match in different ways. He can still win the match with a power slam. He can win it with that DDT because it makes it look like a finish. But I think he has to permanently retire like the RKO. I wouldn't mind if he went back just to take the Mickey MVP and he'd done the overdrive. That'd be funny.
Yeah, but I think with Randy Orton, he's so known for that RKO. It'd be like Austin taking away the stunner, wouldn't it?
It would be. But that's what's fun about it.
It'd be difficult. But he has got that punt. That punt is devastating, let's face it.
Yeah. And just imagine that power slam is already effective enough. That whiplash effect on somebody where it literally is like dunk off the ground. He just literally goes, "I'll see you later, mate." He can easily just do that. So I think we've all gone. Everybody's gone Cody to win this.
I'd be shocked if he didn't.
I would be as well. I'm not going to obviously. Yeah, I'm not going to say let's preview 2 other matches because we don't know if they're going to happen, but I'm just going to ask yourselves just quick fire. If these 2 matches happen, who are you going with? LA Knight versus Austin Fury for the US title.
LA Knight, obviously.
Yep. And Raquel versus Rhea.
Raquel.
That's for... Wait.
Oh, sorry, Rhea. Sorry, I said Raquel for some reason. Rhea.
So after talking up Judgment Day, and then Rhea loses her belt.
I don't know why I said Raquel then. I meant Rhea.
Yeah,
Rhea. I don't see Rhea losing that title to Mania.
Yeah, against Bianca Belair, unfortunately.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I would be interested in Raquel Rhea though, because it'd be the first time Rhea really fought someone bigger than her. So it would be.
She hasn't. I don't think she's actually wrestled Raquel in a singles match since NXT.
Yeah, when they had their good match there.
I liked Raquel in NXT. They really fucked her over. Just like Baszler, she was great in NXT. Like they fucked over the good ones.
The thing with Raquel though, she ain't got really. Her gimmicks are back. You know what I mean? It's I don't want her smiling. I just want to make her a killer.
I don't like when she flexes her shoulder blades. Like I don't care about your shoulder. I don't care about your shoulders.
Where Rhea Ripley does it, Rhea Ripley's got more muscle definition. So in theory, Rhea Ripley's got a better back.
I actually you don't even have that as your gimmick. You don't even have the best back.
Exactly.
I agree. So
second best back on SmackDown. Raw even. You'll never sing that.
True. That's true. So we've done that now. That was like we've actually done. If you think about it, we spent 40 minutes doing opening wrestling news conversations and a topic discussion. We spent an hour.
It's like 2 hours flat on SummerSlam there.
Yep. Now it's anyone in the live chat versus you guys in a quiz.
Yeah. I'll see how much of this I can squeeze in. I think we'll be all good.
We're just going to do this, and then after that, we're going to wrap it. After this, we're going to wrap. So
let's go. Time to. If my internet suddenly cuts out because I don't know the questions, you'll know that I've run away. But
it's
let's
okay.
Find out.
Your quiz is out of. I'm just double checking. It should be. So there's 1, 4, 9, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 points, 10 questions.
Let's go.
Right. So your first question, I'll tell you if it's a
name
multiple
him for
point
3. If I can get 3 out of 22, fantastic.
I will tell you if it's single point or multiple points at the question. So your first question is, the first ever main event at SummerSlam was won by who? Who won the first SummerSlam main event? So obviously write them down. We'll get the answers right at the very end.
Oh, I ain't got a pen.
Just get a pen.
I'll have to.
If you don't, no worries, James. Good to see you, mate. Enjoy. Jamie should be good at this quiz. He plays the chase. I love the chase.
Yeah. Right. I'm gonna have to write it on my phone, but I'm not looking.
Oh, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's cool.
This one's easy.
This is a pure punt because wrestling didn't exist.
FYI, even though there is a SummerSlam watch along next Saturday, we're also going to be doing another stream on Saturday, and we're going to do a match watch along, which is, if you want to join us, it's Andrade versus Johnny Gargano. That's next Saturday. I don't care about anything else.
Finally time, except for the fact that I'm not around. So enjoy Reece doing that.
Fine. We'll do it Sunday then. If you're around on Sunday,
sorry,
we'll do it.
I'm not around at all next weekend. Cricket and all that.
All right, we'll do it weekday. I've got nothing on during the week because everyone's gone.
We could squeeze it in a weekday. Look, at some point soon, people, we will eventually do the commentary on that.
Nice.
Johnny Gargano. So, yeah, it's like Emelina at this point. It's been coming soon for a long time.
No, it's Veer Mahan.
Yeah, was I think what did we mention that? When did we do the ultimate submit? Was
submission.
That March?
Just after Backlash. It was in May, I think.
All right, so May or April.
Yeah, we are gonna keep doing them.
We've been not sure how much of the show you've caught, Jamie. We've been teasing another commentary thing. I picked the match, Gargano versus Almas at Philadelphia. We've been trying to do it for weeks, and then things kept happening, and then on the weeks where like nothing's happened, one of us was unavailable.
Yeah.
So we've
Like
just
Money
not
in the
been
Bank.
able to do the commentary on this.
Like
Anyway, I
Money in
do
the
have an answer. It's most certainly wrong, but I've gone for
As
it.
long as long as you've got an answer, that's okay. Question number 2 was, what was the main event of SummerSlam 1994?
I
This
actually
is a
do
fun
know
one.
that one.
This one, I'm surprised actually happened when, to be fair, made no sense. So, second one was, what was the main event of SummerSlam 1994?
Yeah.
Question
Okay,
number.
will you take a colloquial name? If you don't, if I don't know the name of the other person, but I know what it was. Yeah.
I will allow it. Yes.
Okay.
Question number 3. So this is American cities only. In which city was SummerSlam 2005 held? In which city was SummerSlam 2005 held?
I don't know.
It's a mix. It's a mixture of 80s, 90s, and 2000, like 2010s onwards. I've made it very like spread across.
That's okay.
Ravi's got an answer in for question 2. Ravi, can you give me an answer for question 1 as well, which was the first main event of SummerSlam? The first SummerSlam main event.
I'm not full screen, but I'm not opening the chat either because it'll knock my phone off.
I know.
Stand if I do it.
Did you say where was it held?
Where was it held? Yeah. So just name me the city. You're cool. Question number 4. Who eliminated both Chris Jericho and Edge in the WWE versus Nexus match? Who eliminated both Jericho and Edge in Team WWE versus the Nexus?
Ooh.
Italian painters, mate.
Oh, say that again.
So, who eliminated both Chris Jericho and Edge in the in the Team WWE versus Nexus match? So, SummerSlam 2010, or as I call it, the end of Wade Barrett, because it practically was.
Yeah.
I probably should know that, but I really don't.
I can't bloody remember, so I'll just guess.
I think you'll like this one, Jamie, especially. Question number 5: the WrestleMania 10 ladder match. So basically, was in 1994's WrestleMania 10, but at which SummerSlam was the rematch? So when was the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon WrestleMania ladder match rematch? What year?
Well, this is about remembering when they all pissed off.
I kind of threw it away at you as well, if you think about it. Indirectly,
I've had a guess. They might have not even been in the company when I've guessed, but I've gone for it.
Good shout. That's a fair thing to do. Question number 6: Who was the referee for the triple threat match at SummerSlam 1999 between Stone Cold, Mankind, and Triple H?
Oh yeah,
I think I know that one.
It was, just to be confirmed, he was not an active referee.
Yeah, see, that's a good one. Oh, that one.
I loved him as well. I thought he was entertaining. Now he's just useless. Question number 7 is your first multi-point answer. Name all 6 competitors from Elimination Chamber 2, and you get an extra point for telling me who won the match.
Say that again.
So name all 6 competitors from the second Elimination Chamber, and give me the winner. The second Elimination Chamber was SummerSlam 2003.
Yeah, I was about to say the bloke who won it.
So you get a point for each competitor, and you get a point for the winner.
Okay.
So that one's out of 7.
I'm absolutely not sure I'll get any of them. I'm just throwing names.
That's probably the best thing to do.
You just write this down.
If you also think about shock debuts that happened in WWE in 2003, there's one.
Trying to remember them all now, because I remember this match vividly because it peed me off. The wrong person won.
Yep. Which means you know who's won it, which gives you a point, which is bang on. I know exactly who should have won this, because it would have made made Raw even better than what Raw went.
Thanks for saying that. I now know what match you're talking about.
You're welcome. Let me know when you've got your answers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. I've got 6 names, and I'm confident about 3 of them being there.
Yeah,
And remember to note down your winner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've put a little like explosion around them.
That's fine. Okay, so here we go. Your 8th question is also, it's worth 5 points. It's one for every name. Name the top 5 list of wrestlers to wrestle at SummerSlam. So I want the top 5 of who's had the most matches at SummerSlam.
You mean all time, not currently active, right?
It's just all time. It's just all time who's had the most matches at SummerSlam.
Wow.
Point for each.
There's got to be some obvious ones.
Only one of them could be considered active. But actually, maybe 2. But
I
don't
think
really
I
count
have that one.
them.
Um,
One of them was obvious on this list.
no, not going with that. Not going with that.
One man was actually maybe 2 men are extremely obvious, but there is one man that was obviously going to be on that list.
There's been so much wrestling.
There has.
I've got 5 names, maybe like 2 of them.
The next one's really funny because I could really make someone laugh with my next question.
I think I've got that one.
Question number 9 is your last multi-point answer. It's worth 3 points. How long was the shortest match in SummerSlam history, and who wrestled?
Oh, I know.
So, give me a time for the match, and name both competitors.
I definitely don't know this one.
I will be kind to you.
I think we spoke about it earlier.
This match was in the 2000s.
Oh, it weren't what we spoke about earlier then.
Nope. This match was in the 2000s.
Oh, for fudge pickles.
Shockingly enough, and this is a true story, shockingly enough, in the top 5 for longest matches, one of them is Randy Savage versus Ultimate Warrior, and that went 28 minutes. I think that's crazy.
SummerSlam 92, great match.
Yeah, the fact that Ultimate Warrior could wrestle for 28 minutes is scary.
Savage had great matches with Warrior. WrestleMania 7.
That was actually Ultimate Warrior's best match, in my opinion.
This went half hour. It's quality. It's because Savage is one of the greatest workers of all time.
So
I
much
hate
better
that that's my guess. I hate that's a thing that I've said or spoken into existence, but I've got something.
So much better than Hulk Hogan. And your last question is: what was the first WWF/WWE pay-per-view not to feature Hulk Hogan? And for the record, this is also a SummerSlam. So so basically, what was the first pay-per-view not to feature Hulk Hogan? And that is your last question.
All right, got them all, I think.
If I've got half marks here, I'm going to be really impressed.
If you get at least 11, fair play. So question 1, the first main event, it was won by the Mega Powers.
Yeah, Savage and Hogan
Savage for flip's sake.
Beating the Mega Bucks of Andre Giant and Ted DiBiase.
Absolutely.
I put Savage. I remembered Savage, but no.
Money Inc. was about to come afterwards, which was even better.
Yeah.
Question number 2.
The belly rolls in motion. There's no half points.
You technically counted Savage. He was Savage. He was technically in the match. I'll give you half a point.
Oh wow, Billy's gonna be raging.
I don't give a shit. He left early.
I knew Randy Savage was it. I didn't know it was a tag match though.
He was WWE champion. It was SummerSlam where the WWE title was not on the line, and it was also the end of.
Because I knew Savage was champ at that show, so I was like, Savage retained, I guess. Or...
And Honky Tonk Man lost. And Honky Tonk Man lost the title at that pay per view as well.
Yeah, that's it. Question 2: Is it Taker versus Taker?
It is Undertaker versus Undertaker.
Yeah, I put Undertaker versus Underfaker.
Yep, I will still allow that because technically it was.
Question 3. I tried to remember this I think it was at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C.
It is Washington, D.C.
That is not what I said. I guess Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It had a nice ring to it.
Hogan, against Michaels in the worst sell job I've ever seen.
Oh, do you know
It was
why
that
Did you know the story why Michaels did it though?
because Hogan would
Got
never
lied
give him
to.
a match
Yeah,
afterwards.
It
They were
was
meant
it
to
was
be-
going to be a best of
3
3.
matches, wasn't it? Yeah, and
Yeah.
Hogan decided now.
It was going to be the
actually
best of 3, and Hogan.
You know what's
No.
crazy is I would have seen them doing Michaels loses at SummerSlam, Michaels wins at Survivor Series, Hogan, Michaels, Hogan wins at WrestleMania 22 instead of Shawn versus Vince.
But that's what Shawn wanted. Shawn didn't care about losing the streak, the like, but he wanted the
He
best
would
of
have
3.
he would have put Hogan over, and Hogan's like, no, I can't do it. But then Hogan randomly reappears a year later and beats and squashes Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Question number 4: who eliminated both Jericho and Edge?
I said Barrett because he's the only one I can think of that's got any credibility in that group apart from Daniel Bryan because he was on WWE's team.
It wasn't Barrett.
I said Skip Sheffield.
He had the first 2 eliminations. It was Heath Slater.
He fucking.
Oh.
There you
Heath
go.
Slater eliminated both things. Then Bryan eliminated Slater. Bryan eliminated Slater. Yeah. Question number 5: the WrestleMania the WrestleMania rematch happened exactly. Yep, 1995. Yep, 95.
That is not what I said.
It was better than WrestleMania 10.
Super kick off the ladder as well, which is a shock.
I
Question
said
number
97. I don't even know if they're still around.
Shawn Michaels was guest referee versus Bret Hart. Taker at that.
Yeah. And he hit Taker when Bret spat in his face. Yeah.
Hart versus Soul. The beginning of the Attitude Era, in my opinion, the real beginning.
Again, if it happened before I was around, it doesn't count.
Question number 6: who was the referee for the 99 Triple Threat?
Ventura.
Yep, Jesse Bloody Ventura.
That's not what I said either.
Who did you have?
I saw a clip of it earlier. It looked like Bruno Sammartino.
He gave away the winner on Raw the week before, didn't he?
He literally told him it was going to be Mankind.
Yeah.
It was actually so funny. Question number 7: name all 6 competitors plus the winner from Elimination Chamber 2.
Triple H won it.
Yep.
Goldberg was a beast in it and should have won it.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho, HBK, Kevin Nash, and Randy Orton.
7 from 7.
I'm gonna take a 5 there. I will. Yeah, I said Big Show and Kane, but I got Triple H, who won it, HBK, Jericho, and Goldberg.
Yeah, because
Jericho taking that spear through the pod was absolute gold.
See, when you mentioned it was like the wrong man won, I was like, oh my god, it's the Goldberg one.
Yeah,
he should, even though Goldberg should have won that.
Yeah, Triple H was injured, couldn't work. That's why he got fat.
Right, that's helped. The quest for 11 could be on. Could be off. I
still had Goldberg losing the title at Survivor Series, but I would have done Goldberg SummerSlam Survivor Series as a title reign. Question number 8 was name the top 5 of wrestlers to wrestle at SummerSlam. Eilidh, you're 5.
I said Randy Orton, John Cena, Randy Savage, Chris Jericho, and The Undertaker.
3 points.
Okay, can I guess that it was Orton, Taker, and Jericho?
No.
Oh,
it wasn't.
Where am I? 3.
Jamie? Sorry, 2 points for you then. Sorry, my bad. 2 points. On you go, Jamie.
I had Taker.
Yep.
Cena, Edge,
yep.
Triple H, Randy Orton.
5 out of 5. Randy Orton, Undertaker tied 16 matches. Cena is in 4th. Cena's 3rd. Edge has got 12 matches. He's in 4th place, and then Triple H is in 5th position. And your last.
I had Edge. I took Edge out for Taker, but I had Savage and Jericho.
Yep. Question 9 was
3 for me there.
Yep. So the shortest match in SummerSlam history and who wrestled. This is question 9. What have you got for your 3 points? This is going to be funny.
I thought it was Becky Bianca Belair.
Nope, because that went 21 seconds.
I can't remember any short matches apart from that.
I had one of the worst guesses potentially ever. You said mid-2000s, and I was like, well, that is peak Great Khali era. So was it Great Khali versus Kane?
That was WrestleMania.
Oh,
I don't know the answer to this one. I can't remember.
8 seconds. 8 seconds. Christian versus William Regal for the ECW title, and then afterwards Christian got his head kicked in. SummerSlam
absolutely no chance, man.
Oh,
SummerSlam 2009, and the last question to wrap it up. The last question was the first pay-per-view not to feature Hulk Hogan.
oh, SummerSlam pay-per-view. So I was trying to think, it was at 88. Was he at 89? It's where I can't remember. 1990 was Ravishing Rick Rude, Ultimate Warrior in the cage. I can't remember what Hogan did in the main. If he was there in the main event, probably was.
No, Rude versus Warrior was main event.
Yeah. So was Hogan in that one? Who was when Hogan for Hogan and was it Hogan and Warrior against Slaughter and all that lot in a 3-on-2 match? Was that SummerSlam? Can't remember. So this is where because I know Hogan had a sabbatical to do a film around one of the years, and I can't remember when it was.
That is correct. I can confirm that. That is correct.
Was it 1990? If Hogan went in the main event, it has to be 1990.
So 1990 SummerSlam is your guess.
Yeah, because I can't.
Okay. I will wait for Eilidh, and I'll see if Eilidh gives me one, and I'll confirm if either of you who got it right or wrong. So I'll wait for Eilidh. On you go.
I said 1993.
You were so close.
Was it 92?
SummerSlam
1992, was he? Fucking hell, yeah, Jesus Christ.
Because SummerSlam 1992, Ultimate Warrior obviously got sent home after he threatened to shoot Vince.
Yeah.
Hogan was not on the card. He was not on top. So there you have it. Tally up your scores, and then we'll go with that. And then I'm going to bring up one last thing for everybody if they watch on the replay after 3 hours. Anyone does fair play. I hope we've actually done really well on this one. This has been a great show, and obviously we'll definitely have Jamie back on again. Might even bring Jamie on for the review show for SummerSlam, because we'll actually review it and Jamie can be a part of it. I think it's reasonable.
I'll do every WWE pay-per-view. So get me on for every WWE pay-per-view. That's my morning.
You're on. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I got 9.5.
I can't remember. I've just deleted all mine off my phone.
Yes, I won by default. I have a score.
I think I got quite a lot right, to be fair. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, what you got? All 7 of the points for the Elimination Chamber, and you got all 5 for the.
I think you're close to a full house anyway.
You got the City, you got the Undertaker, you got Mega Powers. You only missed the
3-pointer
Nexus point.
And he missed 5. I would say it's about 17.
So I think you're on 16 by a quick count. It could be 17, but
that is
either way. You've absolutely stomped me. But I will say the generation played more into your hands.
Yeah,
maybe I'll write the quiz for the next one.
To be fair,
all duffers against each other.
Well, there is one thing. We could for a laugh do NXT No Mercy. Forget the Great American Bash, but No Mercy would be one to have some classic minds over. But anyway,
the only reason that wouldn't happen is because the show's actually on my birthday, so I could be.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You'll be here. And on that note, it has been an amazing show. Obviously, we'll promote this out as much as we can, get people to watch. Obviously, we want to get more of a community going for the Weekly Steel Chair. It's been a great show. Jamie, can you shout out your socials, my man?
Yeah, so you can find me on my YouTube channel, Jamie Phillips Football Chats. Guys, go and find me over there. And I can't even remember my Twitter. Jamie Chats 39, I think. I can't bloody remember. Let me have a look at Twitter. I never remember anything off by heart. Let me have a look at my Twitter. I can't even bloody remember right now.
In the meantime, you can catch me on absolutely
Chats Jamie FC is my Twitter. Just go over there.
Yeah,
definitely. You can catch me on absolutely 0 socials. Do not talk to me. I don't care.
Pretty much.
You've had your chance to speak to me. You've had your 3 hours. That is all.
Now, for everyone in the live chat, obviously, this is the last thing I'm going to leave for you guys before we go. Is one, we might do as of SummerSlam, we are going to told this. We are going to this is as of SummerSlam, so this is a clean slate. Me, Eilidh, Jamie for every pay-per-view. I'm happy with that. That'd be great. We are going to have a prediction league for every WWE pay-per-view going as of now.
Ooh.
And we're gonna have this going every single show. It'll be a prediction pay-per-view league, and that includes everyone's predictions I've got, which is great. We're going to go with that. We're going to run it, see what happens. We're going to have any guest that wants to come on from the live chat, any viewer wants to come on, that's great. Camera, no camera, I don't object to anything, just as long as you just get involved. And also, everyone that watches, please just like, share, and subscribe, and also just check out our content. There's a lot more coming, more watch-alongs. I've got the G1 stuff to review. I've not done a G1 stream in a lot while. I've been doing the watch-alongs for that.
Just be careful not to put any shots from the show up.
Oh, fuck that! No, fuck them. I'm not doing shorts for New Japan anymore. I just do their watch-alongs. But we have still great show, great stuff to that, and also I can't wait for Impact in October. I'm going to that show. But there we go. I had to get that out there. So it's been an absolute banging show. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. We will be back throughout the week, but there might be a gaming stream on tomorrow or Sunday. We'll find out. But till then, thank you very much. Stay safe. Look after yourselves, and don't stop, because wrestling doesn't stop either. Bye for now.